Well. So the Cowboys have wrapped up their final day of camp, which was yesterday. And so now the only thing we are waiting on is the regular season. Yeah, I know. We have a preseason game coming up this Friday, but this is pretty much just a dress rehearsal. There will be maybe a couple of final looks, a couple of guys on the bubble. But I believe for the most part, the Dallas Cowboys already know who is and who is not going to make this team. And so, as the Cowboys now are back in Dallas, back at the Star, getting ready not only for the preseason game, but the Cowboys are also getting ready for the first game of the season, Sunday Night Football against the New York Giants. And so many things are happening. But nevertheless, the Dallas Cowboys, I believe they are absolutely ready. Let's talk Cowboys. We're about to talk facts. What is going on, Cowboys Nation? What is going on? Man, I am telling y'all, the Cowboys, there's nothing else left to do. The 53-man roster, I believe it is pretty much settled with the exception of 4 or 5 players. Man, let's go. Let's get it. Welcome, Cowboy fans and Cowboy haters alike. I'm the G, and I'm the host of Let's Talk Cowboys, where we talk facts. And as you come in this live stream, please hit that like button, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you know the next time we post another video or go live. And if you haven't become a channel member subscriber yet, what are you waiting on? We have a lot of great things coming up on this channel this season. Now, let's talk facts. Had to move that bottle out. My wife will kill me. What is going on, Cowboys Nation? We got a lot of great things coming up on this show for today. This show is packed as we are getting ready for our quote-unquote, it ain't gonna be no Friday night showdown. It will not be a Friday night showdown. Even though there is some bad blood between the Saints and the Cowboys, we're really looking forward to this regular season getting started. Today, there are a lot of subject matters inside of these subject matters. But today, our first segment, we're gonna listen to the Brian Schottenheimer press conference from yesterday. We're gonna listen to the player interviews from yesterday. We're also gonna talk about the roster casualties. There are some players on this roster, and really what I'm gonna focus on again is I think that there are some roster favorites. Some we love our guys that they are not gonna make this team. I'm struggling, and I don't think they're gonna make this team. Then we're gonna mosey on over to 105.3 The Fan. I want to hear what John Machota today had to say about the Dallas Cowboys, his take kind of on the Dallas Cowboys, and we'll kind of interrupt here and there to kind of give our own take about what do we think about what's going on with the Dallas Cowboys. Then I want to go around the media and just kind of let you hear again what various people are saying about the Dallas Cowboys. A lot of interesting things. People are really excited about the Dallas Cowboys. Then a segment that is going to be a regular segment for us going forward. It is going to be around the NFL. And what I'm going to do with around the NFL, those will be topics that they don't directly affect the Cowboys, but they indirectly affect the Cowboys, as in moves that are going on around the NFC, whether it be the NFC as a whole or the NFC East. We're going to talk about some of those subject matters on around the NFL because I think they have down the road ramifications. Then we're going to look at the plays of the day from yesterday. Even though the Cowboys did something a little bit different, maybe I'm missing this, but they did the day 2 of the final day of training camp. They actually did it as a game. Maybe I'm missing something, but I don't remember them doing that last year to where they actually, I don't even know if it was televised, but it looked like it was something that they had commentators and everything. So very different, but we still got some plays of the day from X and some things we're going to point out. So Man, that's going to be the show for the day. We got a jam-packed show. A lot of things we're going to talk about. Cowboys Nation, let's go. Let's get it. It is time for our roll call. Let us see who is in the congregation today. And then we're going to get this show started, man. We got a great show for today. Appreciate y'all rocking with me. Best chat on YouTube. Let's see what we got rocking. Let's go. See if we can get this a little bit hyped up today. Oh, yeah. Let's go. Let's see who is in the congregation today. Yo, G, bless him. Let's go. All right. Snap your fingers. Let's go. Big Boss Dog in the building. Welcome to the congregation. What's going on, Blake Strange? Eric Folks, what's going on? Jaydon Justin, Tommy Solo, Frank Lawrence, what's going on? Derek Rose, what up, Jeremy? Jeremy Betts is in the chat. What's going on, Jeremy? Rita Bowman, what is going on? Good to see you. Larry Hunter, Myra Carter. Yeah, it's going to be hard to stop the Cowboys this year, I believe. Gregory Hicks, what's going on? Marvin Mays is in the building. Bama Boy, what up, Bama Boy? We Them Boys is in the building. Carl Williams, what's going on? Quinn! Jabril Quinn is in the building. What is going on? What's going on, Deion Jefferson? Hail Mary, what is going on? Quinn, he said it, I didn't. He said the best channel on YouTube. What up, Quinn? Ronin the Voice is in the building. What up, Ronin the Voice? What's going on, Ignacio? He said, let's go. Nacho from the Bay Area. Yeah, what's going on? Brian Worley in the building. Mark Vasquez, what is going on? Davion Wallace, what is going on? Ronnie Fisher, what is going on with you? Good to see you today. Rose in the building. What's going on, man? These cuts are going to be interesting. But I think we pretty much know the cuts, but we just got to get them verified, I think. What's going on, Brandy? What's going on, Brandy? And yeah, Rose, we're going to talk about Camden Brown. Camden Brown's going to be a big part of this discussion today. What's going on, Larry Stroud? What is going on? Thomas Lopez in the building. Valley G, man. What up, Valley G, man? Bass is back in the building. What up, Bass? What up, Bass? Jack fan for life. Bantu Brick, what is going on? What is going on with y'all? Dak fan for life, Bantu Brick. Blue Blood, what's going on, Blue Blood? Marcus Monterio, what's up? Shout, man, what up, Shout, man? What's going on? Spooty Dog is in the building. Brock, what's going on? Gabriel, what is going on with you, man? Yeah, we're gonna rock. Hey, matter of fact, let's talk Cowboys. Cowboys After Dark will be tomorrow after the game. Yeah, Thomas Lopez, Pitbull. Team NV1, what's going on? Kimberly Hunt, what's going on? Yeah, we're gonna be heartbroken. Some people gonna be heartbroken. What's up, Mose Logan? Mose Logan locked in. I see that Cowboys hat, he locked in. What is going on? All right. We back. All right, let's let that play. We almost done here. What's going on, Game Mode 1? There will be blood. Let's get this show going. Yeah. Let's get this show going today. Man, I am telling y'all, the Cowboys, quiet. They had exactly what I wanted them to have. Quiet. Now, I'm going to add what Jerry Jones and Brian Schottenheimer added. It was like they didn't want anybody to say they had a quiet, boring offseason. I mean, they didn't want anybody to say that. But I'm still going to say the Cowboys had a quiet, boring, active, productive offseason. How about that, Jerry and Brian Schottenheimer? How about that? Quiet, boring, active, productive off season. And you know what's funny to me? It's funny to me how there was some people out there calling me crazy. And it's funny to me how a lot of them are jumping on a bandwagon that I created when the Cowboys first hired Brian Schottenheimer. Who was the first one you heard saying the Cowboys are going to win the Super Bowl in 2026, no later than 2027? Who was that? Who was the one that you first heard saying the Cowboys are moving different? Who was that? I saw so many people pushing back against this. So many people. And all of a sudden, as I'm looking out there in Cowboys land, I'm seeing a lot of people all of a sudden now. It's all of a sudden brand new. The Cowboys are moving different. Really? Because I've been saying that. Oh, the Cowboys got a chance to go to the Super Bowl. Really? I've been saying that. I've been saying all of these things. And now, man, you hear, even the skeptics, now you're watching them. Man, the Cowboys got a good chance to go to the Super Bowl. Yeah, y'all late to the party. We've been talking about that over here. We've been talking about that over here. There is anything you're hearing is nothing but verification. We've been saying a lot of this stuff over here. Man, I'm telling you, I told you, I didn't know what they were going to do. I told you, but something was different the moment they hired Brian Schottenheimer. The moment they hired Brian Schottenheimer, even before I heard the press conference, I said, nah, they moving different. And a lot of people, oh, Brian Schottenheimer is such a stupid choice to pick. And even I was a little bit skeptical when I thought we had a chance to hire Deion Sanders, Michael Irvin. Even he was just tripping. But once I heard Brian Schottenheimer, press conference, all of those things, and watching how the Cowboys were talking, I said, nah, they're gonna move. They're gonna move different. And here we are, and we're about to see, am I truly a prophet? Because I believe the Cowboys are about to do some things that people have not seen them do in years. They are about to do some things. And it's amazing how a mindset, people don't understand, man. I've said this for years. Slavery begins in the mind. And if you can get your mind freed, you'll be surprised at what you can do. If you free your mind and change the way you think, you'll be surprised at what you can do. And so now we're watching the Dallas Cowboys. We're watching Jerry Jones. We're watching this entire team. We're watching all of them move differently because I think the biggest thing that we're watching from this team this year, it's not only Jerry Jones that's believing. It's not only Dak Prescott that's believing. It's not only Brian Schottenheimer that's believing. The entire team. The entire team, they're believing. This is one of the first times in 31 years that I've watched this entire franchise buy in. And really, when you think about it in the grand scheme of things, it's actually been about 34 years, I would say, if we're really being accurate. Because when the Cowboys really started believing in the 1990s, it actually was in 1995. When the Cowboys started believing in the 90s, it was somewhere around 1992. I think it was on the tail end of the 91 season when Troy Aikman got hurt. They went on that winning streak, went to the playoffs, went to the second round without Troy Aikman. Then Jerry Jones and Jimmy Johnson came back in the second year. And once that team was really, really built, and then they added Charles Haley to it, oh my gosh. Once they added Charles Haley to it, to an already great team, man, we were looking at that team like, we ready, man. We ready. And the whole team had bought in, in 1992. And on my Jimmy Johnson barometer, I think we are right at about 1991-ish, 92-ish. We're right in that middle part of 91-ish, 92-ish. And I think we're going to get to 92-ish in this season. I think we're gonna get to it in this season. And what's gonna get us there this season is where will we be by the trade deadline? See, I told y'all already, Christian Parker is the accelerated program. I told y'all Christian Parker is the accelerated program. You don't go get Christian Parker and say, yeah, we're going to give him 1 year of messing up and doing bad and doing, and we'll wait and get him a few players and we'll be a little bit better this year. And then next year we'll get him more of what we want, No. I told y'all before, Christian Parker is the accelerated program. And Jerry Jones said it. They convinced Jerry Jones, Brian Schottenheimer did, convinced Jerry Jones, Christian Parker, Jerry, is the accelerated program. That he will not be like anyone you've brought in here over the last 10 years. He will not need a whole year to get your defense in the top 20, top 15. He won't need a whole year, Jerry. This is the accelerated program. Brian Schottenheimer, I'm telling you, if I was a fly on the wall, and you would think I was a fly on the wall, but if I was a fly on the wall, I believe Brian Schottenheimer said to Jerry Jones 2 magical words. Trust me. Trust me. Explained everything to him and then said, trust me. So now we got Christian Parker, accelerated program. I'm sorry, even the 3rd and the 4th string look like they could be starters on this team. I mean, I'm sorry. I mean, even the 3rd team in these preseason games. I mean, you're looking at minimum missed tackles. You are looking at 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th string, know the program, where they're supposed to be, great communication, understand everything that's going on. And we've been looking at, we were excited, and we've only been looking at a 3rd team defense, 2nd team, 3rd team defense, and we're like, what in the world is going on? Christian Parker was and is the accelerated program. And so now we're watching ourselves 1991-ish, but we're going to get to 1992-ish, I believe, by the trade deadline. The Cowboys, I believe, by the trade deadline. They're going to look at where they are. And if this team is anywhere to 5-3, 6-2, I believe they're going to make another move. And I think they'll make a big move at the trade deadline. I think they'll make a big move at the trade deadline. A move that says, now we're going to really solidify this. And I think that's what's going to push us into 1992 range to where, yeah, we're going to go on a run. And I've already told y'all, man, I'm going to show y'all something. What did I tell y'all that you need to win a Super Bowl? You need a good team, you need health, and you need luck. And right now, the Cowboys have been pretty healthy. But have you noticed what's happening to a lot of other teams? They're getting hurt, they're getting injured, season-ending injuries. Guess what that part is called? That part is called luck. We're going to play some teams this year. You watch what I tell you. We're going to play some teams this year, and we're going to get lucky. Because they're not going to have the players that they were supposed to have when the season first started. One of those teams right now, everybody keeps talking about, well, the New York Giants. The New York Giants. I got a strange feeling the New York Giants aren't going to be full power when we see them. The Washington Commanders, they're not going to be full power when we see them. The Green Bay Packers, they're not going to be full power when we see them. 49ers are getting decimated by injuries across the board. They're on the skeleton crew. You're going to find out, we're going to find out that in Super Bowl years, it's not just having a good team or a great team. Man, you need luck too. You need luck. And I'm not telling you you want players on other teams to be injured, because you don't. But at the end of the day, that's just how the ball bounces sometimes. When Dak Prescott was injured a few years ago, a whole bunch of teams got to play the Dallas Cowboys without Dak Prescott. When you look at, 2024, A whole lot of teams benefited from Dak Prescott not being healthy. It's the game. It's all the game. It's all the game. But in the grand scheme of things, man, the Dallas Cowboys. The Dallas Cowboys have had a quiet, boring, productive, but active offseason. And I want to give Britt Brown a lot of credit. I'm going to give Britt Brown credit. What's going on, Stephen White, Rico Jones? Good to see y'all. I'm going to give Britt Brown and this training staff credit because this training staff has had a bad name over the last few years. And I don't think people realize this tweak that Jerry Jones made in 2025, at the beginning of the 2025 season. In the 2024 season, I don't know if y'all remember, there were a lot of complaints about the Dallas Cowboys training staff, their rehab, the rehab process, even the amount of trainers they had, all kinds of things. People don't realize the Cowboys quietly changed out some of that stuff with their training staff. And now we got to give credit to Britt Brown and these guys because look at the Dallas Cowboys. We're going into the first game of the season and we're not riddled with injury. We're not the ligament gang. We're not we're not the waiting room at the hospital with all of the injuries. None of those things. None of those things. Instead, the Dallas Cowboys they're going into the season relatively healthy. I'm telling us, man, it's the little things that we're not really paying attention to that has really went a long way towards the Cowboys have really tried to improve this team all the way around. Yeah, they made a lot of great changes, and we're watching those things pay dividends. We're watching those things pay dividends. The Savon Revel Jr. rehab obviously went well. We've kept Tyler Guyton on the field. Yeah. Even with a hurt elbow, we've thankfully kept Tyler Guyton on the field. But for the most part, man, we have kept everybody on the field, even when there was some, growing injuries or growing issues. Jalen Thompson had some issues going on with abdominal issues. Jalen Thompson back on the field. Jayshawn Barham back on the field. Devin, our cornerback, Devin Moore, back on the field. Man, the Cowboys have just done a great job all the way to the training staff, the facility, all of these things. Cowboys have done a great job. Absolutely. See, I think we're just looking at, I think people are just looking at the players and it's not just the players. It's not just the coaching. Jerry Jones just went in there all the way around, man. And they said, man, we got to fix this. 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 And they were fixing so many things. So many things. Yeah, appreciate you to them boys. Hey, them boys, Cowboys did some work, didn't they? They did some work. Lord Naraku, he said, is this one of those shows that say Cowboys are going to the Super Bowl? Well, this is one of them shows that's been saying the Cowboys are going to the Super Bowl since we started the channel. Cowboys got a great chance of going to the Super Bowl. They really do. Cowboys got a great chance. Yeah, Robert Dudley said, yes, stop walking on your elbow without Dr. Slip. Okay, say that again. I'm pretty sure you said something good there. But, yeah, they've kept him out there on the field. Backbreaker said out of these 5 quarterbacks, Dak has had the better overall team since 2020. Allen, Burrow, Dak, Lambert, Dak 2021 was better than any of these. No, I don't think so, Backbreaker. And again, when we talk about teams, no, I don't think we've had the best teams. Because I would dare say Lamar Jackson has probably had the best teams. This is one of the reasons why John Harbaugh got ran out of Baltimore, dare I say. Because now Lamar Jackson has had some absolutely really, really good teams. And when we think about teams, Backbreaker, let's not boil it down to the players. Because what I'm boiling it down to is the coaching. Because the biggest difference for the Cowboys backbreaker, it is not players. The biggest difference for the Dallas Cowboys is coaching. That's the biggest change. That's the biggest change. The coaching. Brian Schottenheimer, now Christian Parker, and their staff. This is Tony Romo nor Dak Prescott has never had a coaching staff as good as Troy Aikman. We saw what Troy Aikman looked like after great coaching. We saw what he looked like after Jimmy Johnson, Norv Turner, Dave Onstad. Those there, that's the head coach, the OC, and the DC. We saw what Troy Aikman looked like after those guys were gone. We can't boil this down to just players. Because when people start talking about Dak Prescott has had a better team, they're talking about players. I'm not talking about players. I'm talking about coaching and players in a system that puts them in a position to succeed. And Dak Prescott has not had a better team than Lamar Jackson, has not had a better team than Justin Herbert. Man, I'm sorry, I can't even talk about Justin Herbert. That's if, man. I'm not even going into a deep conversation about if, man. Justin Herbert has absolutely had what? 4 or 5 head coaches fired, 3 or 4 offense coordinators fired. It's everybody's fault but Justin Herbert. And every time something comes up, if Justin Herbert took a top 10 defense into the playoffs and literally threw the Los Angeles Chargers out of the playoffs with nothing but turnovers and bad plays. Justin Herbert has got to have one of the worst performances we've seen in years outside of C.J. Stroud last year. No. Dak Prescott has not had better teams. This is arguably the best team Dak Prescott has had. I'm not talking about talent-wise. This is the best team that Dak Prescott has been on because of the coaching, because of Jerry Jones' mindset, and because of the players, the systems they put in place. These next 3 years, they will be the best teams that Dak Prescott has been on. And I'm not talking about talent-wise only. We look at teams as in talent. But even Colin Cowherd had to concede to this point that I'm making. When Colin Cowherd went back and stopped just looking at the talent, and he started looking at the coaches and what the owners were doing, what the GMs were doing, Colin Cowherd came to the reality. Dak Prescott has been the best thing on this team in the last 10 years. He's been the best thing on this team. Dak Prescott has taken too much of, he's taken too much of the blame for a team that Jerry Jones has misguided for what, 31 years we're talking. And it's not that Jerry Jones hadn't done some great things, but what Jerry Jones had failed to do, and y'all know I'm a huge Jerry Jones fan, but I stay to this same point and I've been very consistent with it. Jerry Jones has never had a talent issue. What Jerry Jones discounted about Jimmy Johnson, for as much as Jimmy Johnson, as I told you, has got a huge ego, and he's also a part of the reason why we didn't get to have the dynasty that we had in the 90s. But what Jerry discounted about Jimmy was culture and mentality. That's what Jerry discounted about Jimmy. Jerry brought in that country club atmosphere with Barry Switzer. Barry Switzer was the beginning of the country club atmosphere in Dallas. Jerry failed to understand the dynamics of a mindset. This is where Jerry has failed. I don't think he's failed at talent. I think he's failed at the mentality of what it means for a coach to truly come in and motivate your players, not outside of themselves. People, got to go out. No, you don't have to go outside of yourself. No, you got to motivate a team within itself. That's the key to success in life. It's not about what's on the outside of you. It's about what's on the inside of you. Can you change the structure, the spiritual structure of your internal self. Because if you can improve, if you can motivate your internal self, your spirit, the things that you can do with your body then becomes incredible. This has been Jerry Jones's biggest miss. His biggest miss has been that. Because you can't accuse Jerry of not having talent. Jerry has had talent on this team. 2007, Jerry had talent. 2014, Jerry had talent. 2016, Jerry had talent. But what Jerry failed to have were coherent teams. That's where Jerry has failed over and over and over and over. And this is why I keep telling y'all, the biggest improvement that Jerry has made, I don't think it's players. I don't think it's players. The players are just a result of the biggest improvement that Jerry made. The biggest improvement that Jerry made over the last 2 seasons is his mindset. It's the biggest change that anybody can make. Mindset. The Bible says, do not conform to the world, Romans 12:2, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Not your bank account, not your body, not your physical attributes, not the things around you. Be transformed by the renewing of your mind. The biggest transformation that we have seen is the way Jerry Jones is thinking. Bottom line. Nothing else matters. Nothing else matters. Nothing else matters. The mindset is what matters. Backbreaker, I'm sorry. I'd take Brian Schottenheimer right now over anything Mike McCarthy ever did. Mike McCarthy, I'm sorry, is a failure. I said it. I don't care who like it. I don't care who don't like it. Mike McCarthy is an absolute failure. Mike McCarthy, and don't let me say absolute, but Mike McCarthy is a failure in the grand scheme of things. How do you only get 1 Super Bowl with Aaron bleeping Rodgers? Aaron Rodgers has to be one of the biggest waste of talent in the NFL, and that's why Green Bay finally fired Mike McCarthy. It was too late. By the time he got fired, it was way too late with Green Bay. He ran Green Bay in the ground. He had the... I don't think people are going to realize something about Aaron Rodgers until they go back and look at the tape. Aaron Rodgers has to be one of the top 5 throwers of the football we've ever seen. I know Aaron Rodgers has been a little quirky in his late years. Aaron Rodgers is absolutely incredible. He's not incredible now. Man, dang it, the man's in his 40s. He's not incredible now. I mean, my sons are looking at him saying, yeah, man, yeah, Dad, what you talking about with Aaron Rodgers? Yeah, because they ain't got the VCR tapes. They ain't got the VCR tapes. They're not taking the time to go back and watch Aaron Rodgers. Mike McCarthy was only able to get 1 Super Bowl out of Aaron bleeping Rodgers. Meanwhile, were they less talented? Don't get me wrong. I would take Tom Brady over Aaron Rodgers. But Tom Brady wasn't more talented than Aaron Rodgers. I'm sorry. He wasn't more talented than Aaron Rodgers. But his mentality, I believe, was better than Aaron Rodgers. Bill Belichick got Tom Brady and wins 6 Super Bowls. Mike McCarthy gets Aaron Rodgers and he only wins 1 Super Bowl. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Overall, that's a failure. I'm sorry. You can't have Aaron Rodgers in his prime and only win 1 Super Bowl. I don't care about any mishaps. I don't care about any other thing that happened. No, you got Aaron Rodgers. You have Aaron bleeping Rodgers in his prime. One of the best quarterbacks we've ever seen. And you only win 1 Super Bowl? I'm not buying it. I'm sorry, Mike McCarthy wasn't good. Mike McCarthy wasn't good. Even when the Cowboys hired Mike McCarthy, I was talking about Mike McCarthy. Mike McCarthy is a great football mind. Mike McCarthy could be on my advisory staff. I'm staying consistent. Mike McCarthy could be on my advisory staff. Mike McCarthy knows a lot about football. Yes, he does. I have no problem sitting down with Mike McCarthy and having football conversations because he knows more football than I've ever known in my whole life. But when it comes to letting him be in front of grown men and motivating grown men, leading grown men in the battle, nah, bro, I'm going to keep you on the advisory board. Sorry. I don't care what anyone says. I'm sorry. And I've been saying this. This is not new. Anybody who's been here, this ain't new. Mike McCarthy he could not lead my team. I would never let Mike McCarthy lead my team. Never would I ever. No. I watched this man with Aaron Rodgers. Dude, y'all not realize it wasn't Mike McCarthy that beat the Cowboys in 2016. Go check the tape. It was not Mike McCarthy that beat the Dallas Cowboys in 2016. It was Aaron bleeping Rodgers that beat the Dallas Cowboys in 2016. Go back and look at the tape. They threw the play that Mike McCarthy called in the trash. They talked about it after the game. They threw the play in the trash. I wish they would have ran the play. I wish they'd ran the play because in 2016, we might have went to the Super Bowl in 2016 had Aaron Rodgers not threw the play away that Mike McCarthy sent to the huddle. No, Mike McCarthy, no. Aaron bleeping Rodgers drew up his own play. Yeah, Aaron Rodgers drew up his own play and beat the Dallas Cowboys. Yeah, that was Aaron Rodgers. Yeah, y'all can thank Aaron Rodgers, not Mike McCarthy. I'm sorry. Mike McCarthy could never be the head coach for me. I've said that before. That's why I'm laughing at the Pittsburgh Steelers. Who hires Mike McCarthy at this point in his career? You couldn't find nobody, I guess. No, I'm sorry. Mike McCarthy had Aaron bleeping Rodgers for almost 20 years, and you only win one Super Bowl? I'm sorry, that's tough. I'm sorry, that's tough. I don't care. That's crazy to me. You got Aaron Rodgers in his doggone prime? Nah, I can't buy that, man. I can't buy it, man. I can't do it. Yeah, D-Cuz Worley, 3rd and 30. And guess who drew that play up? Aaron bleeping Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers threw that play that Mike McCarthy sent in the trash because the play was trash. Yeah, we probably win that game or at least go into overtime. we probably go into overtime and have a chance to win that game. I'm sorry. I would take Brian Schottenheimer any day of the week over Mike McCarthy. I'm sorry. Better play caller. Brian Schottenheimer, better play caller. Mike McCarthy with that Stellar's Toast West Coast offense. Trash. Trash. Mike McCarthy can't build a culture, too paranoid. Paranoid of Dan Quinn when he was here. Just paranoid. He was one of the reasons why we got rid of Amari Cooper. He ran Amari Cooper out of town, and Jerry Jones obliged him. Took the play calling from Kellen Moore. Put Kellen Moore in the court of public opinion talking about, yeah, man, Kellen Moore, I'll run the ball. Only for him to get the play calling and not run the ball. Stop it. Not hearing nothing about Mike McCarthy. Brian Schottenheimer runs circles, and you can tell by the mentality of the team. Brian Schottenheimer has done in one season what Mike McCarthy couldn't do in 5. Get out of here with Mike McCarthy. I ain't hearing nothing about Mike McCarthy. I'm not hearing nothing about Mike McCarthy. Brian Schottenheimer had to come in here and clean up all of the doo-doo that this man left in this Cowboys facility. All of it. I'm not listening to no talk about Mike McCarthy. Man had the nerve to go to Green Bay, and rather than focusing on beating the brakes off Green Bay, he goes over there reminiscing on Mike McCarthy Street. He over there reminiscing. They doing a whole piece on him, reminiscing on the Green Bay Packers and looking at the field, shaking his head, talking about, oh, man, it's bring back a lot of... Bro, I don't need your memories about Green Bay, because if you let me go back and give them to you, I'm going to tell you how terrible you was. Mike McCarthy, great football mind. No disrespect. Love him, like him as a person. But as a head coach, shoot, forget me. Man, he ain't even in the category for me. He ain't even in the category for me. And Brian Schottenheimer hasn't even won a Super Bowl. I still take Brian Schottenheimer 10 times out of 10 over Mike McCarthy. I've been had this energy. Shoot. I've been had this energy on Mike McCarthy. This man was over here in Dallas straight up tripping. Lied to get the job. Yeah, I've watched all the Cowboys tape. I've been watching the Cowboys tape since I've been. Did come back later on and say, I got to tell the truth. Hey, watch no tape. Get out of here. Get out of here, man. He was a part of the country club. He was a part of the country club culture, too. Absolutely a part of the country club culture. Man, I'm sorry today, Cowboys Nation. But I'm not going to allow anyone to downplay what Brian Schottenheimer has done. Brian Schottenheimer has came in here and done something that we have seen no coach do in 30, we might as well say in 35 years. Because Jimmy came around 89, who we haven't seen done in 35 years. Change the mentality of the football team. Change the mentality of the football team. That's what Brian Schottenheimer's done. Mike McCarthy couldn't do it. Couldn't do it. Couldn't do it. Bottom line. Couldn't do it. All right, man, let's get on over here. We got a lot of stuff to cover today because I'm not doing Cowboys After Dark tonight. We saving that for Friday night. We saved that for Friday night. Yeah, we ain't doing Cowboys After Dark tonight. So let's mosey on over here to Brian Schottenheimer.
Man.
If you take yourself
Jerry
back
Jones
to being in that
figured
draft
out
room when you guys
something
are in
with
the third round, you're about to take him, and
Brian,
going over what you
Jerry
like about the
started listening
guy
to Brian
to where you are
Schottenheimer.
now. Where is he at?
And Schottenheimer even made Jerry Jones
Is he in the workroom?
I believe the errors of his way.
What's that?
Because again, man, Shotty, what I give Shotty credit for. Unlike Mike McCarthy, Shotty was able to even help change Jerry Jones. And that's what I like about Shotty. Niecy's in the building. Niecy, what's going on? What's going on? Niecy says Shotty's bringing back discipline with this team. Yeah. Yeah, Niecy. See, Brian Schottenheimer was a part of the country club atmosphere. That was his problem. Mike McCarthy came over here with a chip on his shoulder of I've already won a Super Bowl. And what I can appreciate about Brian Schottenheimer is he's got a different drive. Brian Schottenheimer, his drive is my father couldn't win the Super Bowl, so I'm going to win one. Backbreaker, even if they don't make the playoffs, that don't mean he hasn't changed their mentality. That doesn't mean he hasn't changed their mentality. But Backbreaker, if I was a betting man, and I'm not a betting man, but Backbreaker, if I was a betting man, I would be willing to bet you a significant amount of assets that the Cowboys are going to make the playoffs. Unless there is something cataclysmic that happens in the injury area. The Dallas Cowboys are making the playoffs. Brian Schottenheimer is about to do something that people like, and I'm not saying this in a bad way, but people who are skeptical like you, y'all are going to have to finally admit by the end of this season that Brian Schottenheimer is nice. Y'all going to admit, some of y'all who keep doubting Brian y'all are going to admit, y'all are going to have to admit, yeah, Brian Schottenheimer he's a great coach. Brian Schottenheimer has changed the mentality of this team. Mike McCarthy couldn't do it in 5 years. By the time Mike McCarthy was getting ready to get out the door, man, this team was an absolute wreck. And he was a part of the reason. It was an absolute wreck. I would be willing to bet, no, they're going to the playoffs. There is no doubt in my mind, unless there is a significant injury. No, they're going. There's no doubt in my mind they're going. They're going. Because they're so well coached. They're so well coached. And they put together a really good team. All the way around. No, they're going to the playoffs. We're just going to see how deep they're going to get.
Let's hurry up.
All right, let's see. This is Brian Schottenheimer talking about the Dallas Cowboys. Let's check him out.
Let's just go, and then when they get here, oh, here they come. Dang it! Let's see. That's $4,000. That's $4,000. That's $4,000. That's $4,000. Yeah.
We were talking about All right, Calvin.
You shopping at HEB yet?
I like HEB.
Man, I'm going to tell you something. This is the benefits of being with the Dallas Cowboys organization. I'm just wondering. I wonder, do the Dallas Cowboys team get free groceries from HEB? I wonder if this team is getting free groceries from HEB. Because I can tell you, I guarantee you, like Dak Prescott, I bet you Dak Prescott get free groceries. I bet you Dak Prescott get free groceries right now, boy. But I'm going to tell y'all now, man, ever since I moved over here and I went to HEB, shoot, boy, I ain't been to Walmart since. Man, I haven't been to Walmart since. I haven't been to Brookshire since. Kroger's. I haven't been anywhere, man. HEB is it is the stuff when it comes to grocery stores. Man, I absolutely love HEB. Man, I'm telling you, I guarantee you these players getting free groceries on that joint, man. Hey, even if you're getting 50% off at HEB, and I'm sure there's some kind of discount worked in, shoot, boy, this right here is just one of the perks of being with the Cowboys, man. Boy, this is one of the perks of being with the Cowboys. Shoot, I'm like you, Bass. I catch what you said. What is Walmart? Because I tell you, I don't even know what it is no more. I ain't been there in 3 years.
I like HEB.
Calvin Watkins, Dallas Morning News. You made any decisions yet about who's going to start at QB for you on Friday?
We have not. We'll get into that later as we go. But I'll just say this. I thought the last night's work was really, really good. It was great to have the fans out there. Last time we were in shells, we were a little too slow, and addressed that with the guys. And I thought, as always, these guys give us what we asked for, but thought the work was really, really good. Great spirit. The red zone work was awesome. It was cool to see Caleb Downs get interception. Punt was pretty good too. So look out, banger. Yeah, it was good work. But no, none of those decisions have been made in next day or so.
Have you ever seen a rookie like him just slowly get better every day, knowing that when I see him week one, he's going to be an impactful player for me?
Yeah, I'm not going to compare him to anybody.
Yeah, they're saying they haven't decided on the quarterback situation yet. And I think the biggest issue is that even though Brian said, yeah, man, the quarterback competition is still going on. Nah, the quarterback competition is absolutely over. Quarterback competition is actually over in Dallas. It is. Quarterback competition is over in Dallas. Joe Milton. Now, understand what I told y'all before. Joe Milton actually should have won this contest. Y'all do know this, right? Joe Milton should have won this contest. Why should Joe Milton have won this contest? Okay, let's look at the logic. And I'm gonna take this to a whole nother level of why should Joe Milton have beat Sam Howell? I'm going to give you the number one reason that people may not realize. You know what? Let me make this into a trivia question today. How about it? How about we have some fun today? What would be the number one reason that Joe Milton should have beat Sam Howell? What is the number one reason? What would be the number one reason? At least what I consider to be the number one reason. What is the number one reason that Joe Milton should have beat Sam Howell? And I believe he has beat Sam Howell. Y'all tell me again. Why do you think it is? I'm going to let Brian Schottenheimer talk, answer a few more questions. And then I'm going to give you my answer of why should Joe Milton have beaten out Sam Howell.
anybody else, Calvin. But yes, I mean, he works incredibly hard. He's very serious. He's very intentional. You see him pre-practice working with CP on footwork drills and stuff like that. And, there's a thirst or quest there for knowledge that he's trying to ascertain and bring into his game. And you love that about any player, but especially a young player that's a rookie. And, again, there's no secret.
Backbreaker. Now, backbreaker. Now, you said they haven't played a game yet. Backbreaker, calm down. Calm down just a little bit, backbreaker. Calm down. We don't need to be talking about ifs and if this or about somebody getting injured. We should be praying that Dak doesn't, or any of these players, that they don't get injured. We should be praying for that. Backbreaker, we all about to be proven right or wrong. At the end of the day, the season is about to begin here next month. So while we can prognosticate the end result, I am going to enjoy this one game at a time. One game at a time. I ain't gonna be worried about all these injuries and all of that stuff. So
Why he's such a good player.
Yeah, just piggybacking on this, but it's a superpower of his brain. I mean, because he's not big. He's not like 4'3" guy, but
I think it's part of it.
He could be great.
Yeah, that's
And I'm
part.
like, what's the superpower with him?
Yeah, I mean it's the psyche for sure, the mindset. I think that goes back to his upbringing, his family. But you don't have to be big to be a great player. He's a very powerful player, great lower body strength. So the ability to drop his weight in coverage, the ability to blitz, the ability to block, destruct, all those things are part of because he's so strong from his lower body. But I would say that his mind and football IQ is certainly one of the reasons that he's such a great player and why he's picking up the defense, so quickly.
One preseason game left. I know you haven't played a lot of starters. The running backs, but they all go Friday. I mean, I don't know if anybody else has elevated themselves to where they're putting bubble wrap, or is it still competition?
Yeah, there's still a lot of competition going on. Each position battle's a little different as you guys try to set your roster. But we'll, like I said to Calvin, we'll make those decisions here in the next, day or so, and you guys will be the first, but maybe the last to know.
now, again, I'd already told y'all before, there was really no running back competition to me. Not to me, it wasn't. I told y'all 2 weeks ago how the running back room was going to fall. And we're going to see, what is it, Saturday or Sunday? We're going to see how it falls. Malik Davis, naturally, number 2 running back, because Jaydon Blue's going to be his own thing. Cowboys have always had plans for Jaydon Blue, I believe, and now we're going to see him come to fruition. Jaydon Blue is going to be what they're going to call the number 3 running back, but he's not going to have to worry about it. Jaydon Blue is going to get a lot of touches on the football. Jaydon Blue is going to touch the football about 15 times a game, I believe, in some form or fashion, whether it be in the running game, screen game, passing game. Jaydon Blue, there is a package for Jaydon Blue. 10 to 15 times a game, he's going to touch the ball. Malik Davis, he's good enough. For right now, he's good enough. The Cowboys say, we see your ceiling, but your floor is high. Malik Davis is Mr. Dependable. You don't have to worry about Malik Davis as far as, what he can't do. We know he can run between the tackles. We know he can run hard. He's just Mr. Dependable. We know he showed up in some big games as far as some of the holiday games, but you don't want him as your number 1 running back. But because you got Javonte Williams and because you even got Jaydon Blue, Malik Davis is the number 2 running back. So there's really not any competition there. What's happening with Jaydon Blue is it just seems like to me, based on the actions, not just on my opinion, but on the actions. I'm basing this on the actions. They're trying to toughen up Jaydon Blue because they're going to use Jaydon Blue. They're trying to toughen up Jaydon Blue. They're toughening up Jaydon Blue for the long run down the road. They're toughening up Jaydon Blue. They're toughening him up to help him to understand it's not just about the end zone. It's about execution all the way around, in between the tackles, outside of the tackles, holding on to the ball security. The NFL is different. You got to be tough. You got to be tough. I think they're toughening up Jaydon Blue. So I don't think there's any running back competition there. All of the Abuniconda talk, I'm sorry, I'm not even wasting my breath with that stuff. All of the Abuniconda talk, the Jayshawn Corbin talk, I think his name is. Phil Maffa even. Phil Maffa can't stay healthy. Phil Maffa will be practice squad more than likely. But as far as the running back room goes, I think it's been settled. Some things I believe they put in place or designed some things to push some of these players to go to another level. The running back thing, I believe, was already settled. Now, what I believe that has surprised what has surprised Brian Schottenheimer, and what I believe that is going to be their hardest decision, is that doggone Camden Brown, and we're going to talk about him later. Camden Brown. Camden Brown is the surprise of the camp. He is the total. Camden Brown came out of nowhere. I believe the Dallas Cowboys thought their wide receiver room was going to be as follows. I'm not going to go here yet. I'm going to go here in a minute. I'm going to go here when we get to Camden Brown. But again, kind of sticking to the running back room, wasn't really I don't think there was ever a competition as much as it was a pushing of Malik Davis. Okay, Malik Davis, you're in competition for the number 2 running back spot. In reality, probably not, because Malik Davis, if I'm just thinking about just running the ball, I think Malik Davis is better at running the ball than Jaydon Blue. Better at running the ball. But if I'm looking at ceiling, if I'm looking at versatility, I'm looking at Jaydon Blue saying, Jaydon Blue, we got to keep him on the team too. So what the Cowboys have done, I think it's perfect for right now. The only way there's going to be a change is that somebody over the next week releases an absolutely incredible running back or player. I think that's the only way that anything changes. Now, let me go back and answer the trivia question. What is the number one reason why Joe Milton should have beat out Sam Howell? Y'all ready for this? Because Joe Milton has had the privilege of being under the auspice of Dak Prescott for an entire year. Yeah. All the other things we can add in there. Been in the system for a year. Athletically superior. I'm talking all the way around. Athletically superior to Sam Howell. Bigger arm than Sam Howell. Been around Schottenheimer a whole year. But the biggest advantage that Joe Milton had, and the one thing that people are not, the person they're not giving enough credit to, it's Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott has welcomed Joe Milton when everybody was saying, oh, Joe Milton is going to take Dak Prescott's spot. Meanwhile, Dak Prescott's over here laughing. Dak Prescott brought Joe Milton in, put him up under his wing, worked with him, taught him, brought him on the skill position players trip that he does now annually. Dak Prescott at every return has done everything he could do to help Joe Milton be a better quarterback. And when I watched Joe Milton the other day give that interview, all I could hear was Dak Prescott. That's all I could hear. All I could hear was Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott is the reason why Joe Milton should beat Sam Howell. Absolutely. Absolutely. Dak Prescott's the reason. Trey Lance. the best thing that happened to Trey Lance was being with Dak Prescott. And probably could have used another year or two with Dak Prescott. Trey Lance would be even better had he just stayed, if he could have stayed another year with Dak Prescott, even two. It's going to pay dividends for Joe Milton. Because for all the things about Joe Milton, big arm, athletic, big quarterback, all of the things that we can talk about Joe Milton, I guarantee you one of the biggest things he's going to tell you in the future, because I'm not sure if Joe Milton's going to last with the Dallas Cowboys. I'm not sure he's going to last because we got to understand something about Rain Dakota Prescott. Barring injury, Dak Prescott ain't going nowhere. Dak Prescott is the starter for this team for the next 2 years, 2027, 2026, 2027, 2028, God willing. And I got a feeling Dak Prescott will get an extension in 2027, which will extend Dak Prescott probably into about 2031. Joe Milton ain't sitting behind Dak Prescott that long. Joe Milton is not sitting behind Dak Prescott that long. Joe Milton is he's not old, he's an older quarterback. Joe Milton didn't come into this league when he was 22, 21, 22, like the Drake Mays of the world. He didn't come in when he was 21, 22. Joe Milton came into this league when he was what, 25? 24, 25? Joe Milton, what, 25, 26? You're talking about another 2 years, he'd be 28? Another 3 or 4 years, he'd be 30? Joe Milton ain't sitting behind no dang on Dak Prescott for the next 3 years. He's not doing it. He's not doing it, and I'm sure he don't want to do it. He don't want to do that. Joe Milton, someone next year, I believe will make the Cowboys an offer that they can't refuse for Joe Milton. Sam Howell stays here. Sam Howell stays in the system another year. Sam Howell, a lot more experienced than Joe Milton. Sam Howell stays here another year. Sam Howell will probably be the backup. Joe Milton gets traded. Cowboys bring in a second-round pick for Joe Milton and a player, or who knows what they'll probably be able to get for Joe Milton. And then the Cowboys will draft the true successor to Dak Prescott. Because if Joe Milton stays here, he's a bridge. Typically, when you get your franchise quarterback, you want that to be a young guy. A guy who's about 22. A guy who you can let him sit on the bench about 2 or 3 years. Let him sit on the bench 2 years maybe. You catch your quarterback about 2 years out. And then you get that quarterback in here, he spends 2 years. Third year, he taking your quarterback spot. By that time, Dak Prescott will be almost 40 years of age. So we'll see what's going to happen. But I don't think Joe Milton, man. And I don't even think the Cowboys are going to do Joe Milton that disservice. The guy's worked his butt off. He's worked hard. He's worked his way to being a good to great. And I think he's going to, finish up this year. He's going to play in garbage time, as Frank Lawrence has already said. I believe the same thing. He's going to get a lot of opportunities to play in garbage time this year. Because I think the Cowboys are going to absolutely run off on a few of these teams. Joe Milton will get some live bullets, get in the line of fire, play some this year. And then next year, I don't think the Cowboys are going to do him a disservice and try to keep Joe Milton here and not let him go be a multimillionaire. Because I think he's going to be a multimillionaire. Because I think he's better than Malik Willis. I mean, we got to see what Malik Willis is going to be this year. But I think Joe Milton has the potential to be better than Malik Willis. And we already see what they're doing with Malik Willis over there in Miami. Well, if he can get that kind of contract, I believe Joe Milton can too. I do. I think Joe Milton can get that kind too. So, yeah, Dak Prescott is one of the biggest reasons that Joe Milton should have beat Sam Howell, and one of the biggest reasons why I believe Joe Milton is going to go on to get a great opportunity in this league and be a great quarterback if he gets on the right team. I do. If he gets on the right team. Blake Strange, I'm going to tell you something right now, Blake Strange. As much as I love Dak Prescott, I don't think no quarterback wants to be a backup. No quarterback wants to be Cooper Rush. Nobody wants to be a doggone career backup. No. You ain't trying to be no career backup. As much as I believe he likes it here, Blake Strange, I believe he loves it here. I don't think he wants to stay here and continue to be the backup. Because if he does, then I don't want him to be my starting quarterback. I don't want a quarterback that wants to be a backup quarterback to be my quarterback. Not me. No, I want him to want to be the starter. I want him to want to broaden his horizons. No, I don't want him to want to stay here for 3 and 4 years behind Dak Prescott. No, I want a quarterback that says, no, I want to play somewhere. I want to start. I'm not trying to wait on Dak Prescott because right now, I'm sorry, but Dak Prescott is aging backwards. Dak Prescott looks better now than he did in his rookie season, man. Shoot, I ain't trying to stay behind Dak Prescott. Boy, Dak Prescott is aging backwards, man. I mean, right now, Dak Prescott looks like to me he could play another 5 years easy. Dak Prescott like he can play the 40. I ain't trying to stay with Dak Prescott in my 30s. I'm not trying to stay with Dak Prescott till I'm 30. I love Dak Prescott. Boy, I love Dak Prescott. I ain't trying to stay behind him till I'm 30. Best said Joe has now shown he's got the capability to back Dak. So, yes, he's going to go on somewhere else. Someone will want him like they wanted Lance and Rush. Yeah, and he looks better than Trey Lance. He looks better than Trey Lance and Uncle Rush. Yeah, he does. He does, Bass. He looks better. Way better than those two quarterbacks. Yeah, Frank said, he said, G got me believing when they extend Dak, it'll be structured to free up cap space to play big contract. Oh, pay big contracts to Pickens and a few of these players they want to sign. Let the CPA structure away. They're going to have to. Frank Lawrence, they're going to have to extend Dak Prescott because they're going to extend George Pickens. And I'm going to let you hear I'm going to let you hear later on in the show of why I believe, because, man, I'm going to tell y'all something. I'm speculating. And I'm telling you because I say I talk facts, but I'm going to speculate. I'm going to speculate based on what I'm seeing. I think there's a big move coming up in Dallas over the next 2 seasons. And I think a lot of people are probably seeing the same thing too. And there are people who don't want to admit it. But I think there's something brewing in Dallas. And I'm not going to tell you what it is until we get there later on.
You're always last. Todd Archer with ESPN. Back on Downs. You think when he got that pick, he was like, finally, because he'd seen all these other guys get.
I think, he knows.
But you think he was kind of like, all right, I finally got one.
Knowing Caleb, no. I think, he knows there's a lot more to come. But he and Dak, we're having some good trash talk back and forth, which is good. And it was actually a little smirk on Dak's face when he saw it was Caleb that got the interception. And, again, I think he was excited, not excited to throw an interception, but that we're seeing the growth of what's going to be a really, really great player.
And then have you guys...
Man, do y'all think Dak Prescott threw that interception to Caleb Downs on purpose, man? I mean, I'm just wondering what y'all think, man. Because when I look at that play, man, I don't really think that throw was there, man. What y'all think? Y'all think that kind of threw that over there so Caleb could go up there and get it, man? It was a great play by Caleb Downs. I mean, I don't know, but, it was a great play by Caleb Downs. I'm just wondering if Dak Prescott kind of threw that over there. But Caleb Downs is going to be a great player for the Cowboys this season. He's going to make a lot of great plays. I can easily see 2 or 3 interceptions in his season this coming season. I really can.
You guys started internally on the Giants, just looking at their stuff yet at all?
No. Right now, we're focusing on cleaning our shed, if you will, sweeping the shed and figuring out who we want to be from an identity standpoint. The personnel part of it is big for us, Okay?
What up, my hot city?
We don't take any of these decisions that we have coming up lightly because they're important decisions and they affect our football team, but also
Blake
people that we love and care about.
Dak really tried to add that no look. Dak really tried to add that no look pass to his repertoire, ain't he? Or Dak Prescott look like, man, Dak Prescott tried to add that to his repertoire. But I don't know, man. Y'all tell me that interception looked kind of strange to me, man. That interception looked kind of strange to me. Because I just don't think it was there. And I think Dak knew it wasn't there. I said the other night, man, I just wonder if somebody said, if the defense get an interception, we go in practice or something. Man, Dak do that. I don't know, man. D-Cuz word. I'm wondering about this one, man. Mile High City said, I believe so, G, just to get his confidence up. Because Brian just said he had an interception the whole camp. Brandon said Dak looked like he threw that on purpose so Caleb could catch. Because CD, I'm telling you, it wasn't there. It wasn't there. And they weren't, it's not like they were running 100 miles an hour. Oh, Shadid, it ain't happening. Jerry Jones ain't selling this team. It ain't happening. Cowboys, they not selling the Cowboys. Now, they might sell the Cowboys over Jerry's dead body. But they'll never sell the Cowboys while Jerry's alive. Yeah, they'll never sell it while Jerry's alive. Yeah, man, Glenn, I'm telling you, man, that receiver, man, you can tell that receiver wasn't there, man. I'm sorry, man. But it is what it is. I'm glad Caleb got him on this. I'm glad he got him. Yeah, somebody said Michael Trigg was on the field. Yeah, I believe I'm pretty sure Michael Trigg was out there doing something. But I believe the Cowboys are about to try and stash Michael Trigg. I think the Cowboys are going to try to stash Michael Trigg because the Cowboys want to give Schoonmaker another year to prove himself. I don't even understand. They want to give old Schoonmaker another opportunity. I'm telling you, they do. Frank Lawrence, appreciate that super chat. Yeah, Frank Lawrence. Yeah, Milton was being called a trade bust. Frank Lawrence, you know, isn't it incredible, Frank Lawrence? Frank Lawrence, isn't it incredible? People didn't want George Pickens in their locker room. The Dallas Cowboys bring George Pickens into their locker room. Help reshape George Pickens' whole mentality. Now, we don't know if there are teams out there that want George Pickens yet. I'm sure that there are teams that want George Pickens, but one of the things we do know is that there wasn't a team this past season that was willing to give up 2 first-round picks and pay Joe Milton, because around that time, Joe Milton would have been around the what? George Pickens. George Pickens would have been around the $37 million range. People were saying George Pickens would have been around the $37 million range. So there wasn't a team willing to give 2 first-round picks and pay George Pickens $37 million a year. But it's strange that we bought in George Pickens, who nobody wanted in their locker room, and still this past season didn't want to take that kind of chance, because that's why you do that, because most teams aren't going to want to do $37 million and give up 2 first-round picks. But George Pickens is shaping up to be the best. I'm telling y'all right now, George Pickens, if George Pickens isn't the number 1 wide receiver in the game this year, I'm going to be totally shocked. If George Pickens statistically isn't the number 1 wide receiver in the game, I'm going to be totally shocked. But it's amazing to me that we brought him in, and now people are starting to talk about now he's worth $40 million. George Pickens been worth being one of the top wide receivers in the game. Been worth it. Been worth it. And now we bring in Joe Milton, who nobody was willing to give up a 3rd-round pick for. It's amazing all of a sudden. Once again, folks are starting to mumble about Joe Milton being trade bait for the Dallas Cowboys. Yeah. That shows you what kind of team that we have put together from top to bottom. I'm talking about from the front office down. That shows you the kind of team we've put together. That players come here and then they rebuild their stock up and then other teams want them. So I find that to be pretty funny and pretty amazing. It goes to show you what they've built over here, not just with players, but what they've built over here. What they built over here as far as how they develop players. This is something that we haven't done in over these years, guys. It's called player development. We're not only developing players with their skill, we're developing players mentally. Doing a great job, man.
Each coach is doing a little stuff on their own for their area. But, we know they're a good football team. Ton of respect for Coach Harbaugh. That football team's got a lot of really good players, and it's going to be an electric deal. But, that'll start as we get into a little bit next week. But, really.
And I really think, too, when you think about the Giants, man, I think people are really overhyping the Giants. I really do. Harbaugh is being a little bit overhyped. Harbaugh is being a little overhyped. I'm sorry. He just is. He's being overhyped. People think he's going to just step in and take the New York Giants to a playoffs. I don't see it happening. This team, that New York Giants team got a lot to prove. I'm nowhere near sold on Jackson Dart because I know what this NFL does to second-year quarterbacks. I see what this league does to second-year quarterbacks. And Jackson Dart wants to be Cam Newton. He ain't built like Cam Newton. Jackson Dart wants to be Cam Newton. He gonna find out something. He can't take them hits like Cam Newton took. Cam Newton was bigger than everybody when he was doing what he was doing. Jackson Dart, he gonna find out the hard way. He gonna find out the hard way. Keep on running this league. They'll knock your brains out, literally. They'll knock your brains out. Jackson Dart got a long way to go. The Giants got a long way to go. They've been decimated with injuries, too. And Harbaugh's a good coach, but, man, Harbaugh got long. Harbaugh going to find out the hard way, too. Man, you don't come up in this thing in the NFC and think you just going to come over here and start running things. Yeah, bro, you got to get in line, homie. Hey, you got to get in line, homie. We got quarterbacks, running backs, and defenses over here in this NFC.
You got sometimes you over-prepare, Todd, and that's a real thing. And I've done it where, like, next week you do a bunch of the Giants stuff, and then you come back, and what ends up happening is you do it all again, and you just end up, well, we just did that. So what's different than what we looked at? There's no new film to watch. There's nothing new about that. It's a new scheme. It's a new defense with Denard Wilson and, Coach Nagy. And so we won't overdo it. We're going to focus on us first, make sure we're in a good spot.
John Michaud with The Athletic. I'm sure that there's some players you have closer relationship with than others. Do you have a relationship with a player that compares to Jaydon Barham? Like, is he a guy that maybe you don't talk to as much, or what is he like behind the scenes?
He's awesome, and I think I'm getting to know Jaydon on a much closer level. He's a very serious and great intent, but I was actually visiting with him yesterday for a few minutes and talking about a lot of different things. But you talk about a guy that's wired the right way, and don't let his demeanor or the way he carries himself around you guys make you think for 1 second that he's not all in for this football team. He is very serious at what he does, and he wants to be great. But he's getting more and more comfortable in this locker room, around our players, around our coaches, and I think he's a terrific young man.
If you take yourself back to being in that draft room when you guys are in the third round, you're about to take him, and going over what you like about the guy to where you are now, where is he at expectations-wise?
Well, I mean, he was slowed down a little bit because of the groin, but from the time he's gotten here, we've been really excited about the player, the person, the seriousness that he approaches meetings with, and the ability to communicate. The versatility is real, and it kind of goes back to draft day. And we did the work, we did the prep. He was there. Jerry made the call, and it was great.
Nick Harris, 4-Star Telegram. I know I asked you about Malachi Lawrence a couple weeks back. Where is he at this point in time in his progression?
Yeah.
What up, Poobie D? Hey, Rex. No, I'm not coming to Rio de Janeiro. I'm not there yet. I'm not there yet. What's going on, Chasing Six? Oh, yeah, Chasing 6 and 7. He said, I hope the Cowboys don't keep Mingo Schoon to be right. They're going to keep both of them. Hey, we're going to get there in a moment. Yeah, they're going to keep both of those guys, man. They're going to keep both of them. They want to be right on them. They do. They want to be right on them. They gave up a 4th-round pick for Mingo. They want to be right on it. Schoonmaker was a 2nd-round pick. They want to be right on it. So I think they're going to give him one more year. I do. Queen! The Queen is in the building. What's going on? Good to see you.
he doesn't get an opportunity because we're not, sacking people and things like that to maybe show up like a Caleb Downs does. He's pulling off red jerseys and things like that. But generally, when you see guys playing less in the preseason, it means that, I'm talking about game 1 to game 2, that we've seen enough. And we're excited about what we see. I think he's had some of his best pass rushes in the past week to 10 days. I'm going back to probably Seattle through Arizona and a couple of our practices. Every day is a new day for him in terms of learning something that's different. We knew it would be maybe not longer than Caleb or anybody else, but UCF's a little different program and not some of the same things are afforded to them maybe, that resources and things, but he's been awesome. And one of the big things we wanted to see him do last week was on special teams against Arizona. I thought he did a really nice job because, as you guys know, special teams is going to be a big part of all the guys on the roster because we want to be a dominant special teams unit.
One practice and one preseason game left.
Yeah, Malachi Lawrence, the Cowboys, even though he's a first-round pick, Malachi Lawrence is going to be somebody the Cowboys are going to work in gradually. And everybody can't be Caleb Downs. I know everybody wants every player to be Caleb Downs. Caleb Downs is out of the package. Jayshawn Barham, and I talked about this before, the Cowboys got a steal in Jayshawn Barham. Jayshawn Barham actually could have won in the first round. People were just kind of questioning, like, what is Jayshawn Barham? He got, he, like Shotty said, he was kind of on the upswing, got an injury, and people were kind of wondering, because, if you kind of look at him where he came from, he could play linebacker, he could rush from the edge, very versatile player, very violent player, but people didn't quite know what he was and didn't see enough of what he was. So Jayshawn Barham could have, hindsight is 2020. I guarantee the Cowboys don't get Jayshawn Barham if people could go back and draft again. Jayshawn Barham probably goes late first round, early second round if teams could go back and do it again. Just based on what they've seen, just this little snapshot of what they've seen, Jayshawn Barham would go higher now. So, Jayshawn Barham, he's what you call out of the package. He's out of the package. Malachi Lawrence, again, FCS. I think that's what he's talking about, FCS. Malachi Lawrence, because you got Von Miller, because you got Rashawn Gary, because you got James Houston, you can bring Malachi Lawrence around in spot duty, let him get coached up, and then you can ramp him up as the season goes on. You'll be able to ramp him up as the season go on. And he'll play. I think he's going to play every game. I do. I think he'll get a handful of plays, and then the plays will increase as they go on. But these, Barham, Lawrence, Downs, they're all playing. They're a part of the plan. They're all playing. But Malachi Lawrence, you're going to be able to ramp him up slowly. So I think Malachi Lawrence is in a good place.
How many spots would you truly say are left up for grabs right now?
Yeah, I'm not going to answer that, Nick. It's a good question that I'm going to not answer. I mean,
Thank you,
Shotty. We got a really competitive roster, and there's going to be a lot of late nights. These are hard decisions. You're affecting people's lives, and you're trying to build a championship football team, and these are big decisions. It's not just who starts at this position or that position. It's how does it all fit. And the one thing I think we're all on the same page of is this statement, which is we want to build a great team and not just collect talent. And I'll say that again. It's a great quote. Marty Schottenheimer, 2005-4 in San Diego. It's not about just taking the best players. It's about taking the best people that fit into what you're trying to do, therefore building the best team that we can have, which gives us the best chance to win a Super Bowl.
That was huge what he said right there. That was huge. And that is why, I think the Cowboys kind of came in knowing, for the most part, who was going to make the team. But there have just been a couple of players that they are pushing the Cowboys to the brink of, we're going to have to make some decisions that we didn't anticipate making. They're being pushed to the brink, and I'm telling you, one of those players is Camden Brown. Another one of those players, Jayshawn Barham. I mean, the Cowboys knew he was going to be good, but he's looking like he's going to be great. There are some players, and we're going to talk about them in just a few moments, because some of these players that people didn't expect to really jump off the page, man, the Cowboys are going to have to make some hard decisions. And there are about 4 people, I think there's about 4 players that I believe the Cowboys are going to have a possibility of losing for sure, because these other players have just been so good.
DallasCowboys.com. Darwin was saying yesterday that Christian, the way he calls plays, helps his defense play fast. When you watch tape back, where do you see that playing?
Yeah, we're going to talk about it, Gab Mo.
Well, I think there's an identity, Tommy. I think, he knows what he wants to be. We've got, really great compliments to our base stuff, but, like, we're really good at our base stuff. Like, when I say base, I don't mean base defense. I mean, like, what I would say our primary first and second down packages, our primary third down packages, red zone and beyond. And I think they can play fast because they know them so well, and I think that's important in year one. And as I look back a little bit on last year, not casting stones, not going back, but maybe a little too complicated early on. And, this year, CP's done a great job along with his staff of really saying, hey, this is who we want to be. And then
Man, let me tell you something, Tracy. I don't think it's going to happen, but Tracy, man, the way it's looking for Marvin Harris Jr., man, somebody going to better get Marvin Harris Jr. for a 5th, 6th, or 7th round pick, man. Marvin Harris Jr. needs to change the scenery. Marvin Harris Jr. needs to change the scenery, man. He needs to be, honestly, with a quarterback like Dak Prescott, Joe Burrow, Patrick Mahomes. I mean, Marvin Harris Jr. needs to be with a team that's got a quarterback. I mean, a guy that can really throw the ball, tight windows, that can really help him elevate his game. Because, boy, Marvin Harris, oh, my gosh. Man, you want to talk, but this dude is on the verge of being a bust. His hands, he needs to really work on his hands. And some of that just could be quarterback play.
As we get going into the season, we'll have compliments. We have compliments, but I think that's a big part of it. And that's why I think Demo probably made that comment.
And then on the injury front, where are you with Jonathan Buller, the tight ends, Trayvon Rogers, and anybody else on?
What up, Bazzy 9?
Yeah, so really 3 guys will miss practice today. Bull's doing much better. He's moving around, but he'll miss practice. DJ Rogers will miss practice. And then Johnny is going to miss practice. Trig will work back in, get a little bit of work. And there's one other that's coming back. But who? Jay Wood's still in the protocol. Thank you. Yeah, he's doing individual and stuff, but he's still in the protocol. And he'll probably take that up to game time.
Skyler Dixon with the AP.
Yeah, they were just talking about the tight ends. Frank Lawrence, I appreciate that super chat. This comment is right on time. Frank Lawrence said Luke Schoonmaker recorded 49 receptions and 438 yards and 3 touchdowns across 51 career regular season games with the Dallas Cowboys. Can't sit Trig. Frank Lawrence, appreciate that super chat. Michael Trigg is exactly one of these players that I'm talking about. Michael Trigg is one of these players that really got the Cowboys thinking about Schoonmaker. And I'm telling you right now, Schoonmaker probably should be thankful that Michael Trigg was injured. Because if Michael Trigg would have came in and had another game, like he had in that first Seattle game, I mean, people would have been screaming from the rooftops that Schoonmaker can't stay here. They would have been screaming from the rooftops that Schoon got to go. Schoon got to go. But because Trigg, I don't know, toe injury. I don't remember seeing what happened with the toe. Trigg got a toe injury. Now they talking about he working his way back in. Got a strange feeling. Michael Trigg is about to hit that 2 extra spot injured reserve thingamajig they do. Because they're not letting him hit free agency. They're not going to cut him and try to get him on the practice squad. They're going to keep him on the practice squad with the injured thing, I believe.
Will both quarterbacks play Friday?
Yes.
Piggybacking off Nick asking specifically about this year in roster spots, in your experience generally, how many roster spots would you say are available going into a preseason finale or kind of up in the air?
I think it's different, Skyler. I mean, I really do. I'm not trying to dodge the question. I think it's different. I would say this year some of these battles are really contested, you know? I mean, last year.
Man, these dudes are really trying to get Shotty to give us some inside information, aren't they? First, Nick Eatman says, yeah, man, how many spots is there really a battle for? Just kind of paraphrasing. Now this dude, boy, you gotta give these dudes credit for these questions, boy. They are trying their best to fish it out. Yeah, man, how many roster spots do you think there's typically available going into the last preseason game? Stop it. Stop this fishing expedition. Stop this fishing expedition, bro. Shotty is not about to tell you how many, he's not about to tell you like what are the positions where the battles are critical, or where are the toughest decisions about to be made. Schottenheimer ain't about to tell you that, man. Stop it, bro. Stop trying to get this man to slip up, boy. I mean, come on, man. It's like you're trying to sabotage your own team. Stop.
Maybe it was a little easier process, not easier in terms of the emotion and things like that, but I do think that, it was a little bit more clear cut now because we're a deeper, better, more talented football team. I think, these decisions are going to be harder. And,
put together a really good team.
It's part of it, but, each situation is different. And so, is it 12? Is it 18? Is it 15? You really don't know. And so, have a great practice tonight. Excited about tonight's work and get through the game, and we'll put together a hell of a roster. I have no question about that.
I think we got a good mind of where those battles are. We're going to go there in a moment. But, I kind of looked at the practice yesterday, looked at some of the highlights from the practice, and I'll be honest with you, the practice didn't tell us anything we didn't already know. I mean, am I the only one that thought like this? The practice didn't tell us anything we already know. I mean, in reality, it seemed like to me, the practice gave us a clear indicator of what the Cowboys are going to do. Camden Brown is making this football team. There's no doubt in my mind. And I think that's one of the sticking points of where the Cowboys are. I think Camden Brown has really put them in a situation to where they thought it was going to be, okay, I'm going to get there in a moment. I ain't going to go there yet. I ain't gonna
Has that really shown up to you this preseason?
I think so. Yeah, I think that's a big part of it. We see it in practice every day, but I think you see it in us in the fourth quarter of some of these games, in Seattle and being able to put the game away. And in Arizona, we jumped on them, early, but still be able to finish the game the way we did. I think, you're seeing, like I said, we sat 29 guys last game, and we're still able to function and play really well with a great play style that jumps off the tape, and that's because of the depth that we have on this football team.
Chris.
Oh, yeah.
Chris Scales, Cowboys Radio 105.3 The Fan. One of the rookies who's drawn praise from veteran teammates, and you also noted his play last week, but LT Overton, what more do you want to see from him, and where has he made his greatest strides?
Yeah, great sack the other night. It was an effort sack. It was set up by T. Wheat, who did a great job with his rush of not going past the quarterback. I would say LT is one of the most natural pass rushers I've been.
LT Overton. That's another guy I forgot about. LT Overton. LT Overton is going to play this season. LT Overton is going to play. LT Overton is a very talented defensive lineman. That joker is going to play. And he is going to be a part of some rotation. He's going to make a difference. I absolutely love the LT Overton pick. Yeah, he nice with it. He nice with it. He's one of these guys I don't think people are paying enough attention to. Yeah, he is nice with it. Tim Jones says Schoolmaker has skills and potential. Yeah, problem is it's been too long to develop. He says in all honesty, I don't think he's gotten a fair shot, and I think it's a little bit of the Jaydon Blue syndrome. Not played in many games, showed flashes. Problem is, too, Attention, watch this. Unfortunately, I'm going to use the same word Brian Schottenheimer used. Unfortunately, he came in under a different regime. attention. That's Maurice Leofau's problem. Maurice Leofau came in under a different regime. And where they see Maurice Leofau fitting in this, where they saw him fitting in when he got drafted, they don't see him fitting in here. And it also tells you even how they drafted, of how they evaluated. And, and people don't give, Christian Parker, Brian Schottenheimer, their defensive staff, they don't give them Will McClay. People just poo-poo on them. By the way they drafted tells you some things about Maurice Leofau. If they thought Maurice Leofau was that, they wouldn't have drafted the way that they drafted. The way that they drafted shows you how they felt about Maurice Leofau. And Maurice Leofau, who I believe is a talented player, is finding himself on the outside because he wasn't with this regime. And it's the same thing with Schoonmaker. When Schoonmaker had his opportunity, he didn't seize the moment. And so now Schoonmaker is finding himself in the same situation. He's just not a part of this regime. He's not. And so you can tell by the fact that they went and got Michael Trigg, put Brevin Spanford in front of him. It shows you how they see Schoonmaker. They're going to give him another chance, but I'll tell you this, shoot, he better do it or else, because it's over after this season. There's no doubt about it.
Been around for an interior guy. We saw that at Alabama. He's still learning some of the techniques that we believe in terms of playing, combination blocks and run defense and things like that. But he's, been elite in a lot of ways rushing the passer. And, he's a guy we're very, very high on. And we were high on in the fourth round when we took him. And he's having a great camp. And
Overton was a steal.
We'll see what we decide to do with him on game day.
Yeah, LT Overton was a steal. Absolutely. LT Overton was a steal. I'm excited to see how the Cowboys develop LT Overton. Absolute steal.
Joe Hoyt, Dallas Morning News. You brought up Jonathan Mingo unprompted a lot.
Jonathan Mingo. Y'all knows what he said? These guys have been out there watching. You brought up Jonathan Mingo unprompted. Jonathan Mingo is benefiting from the fact the Cowboys spent a fourth-round pick on him. Now, for what my understanding is, he's played pretty good on special teams too. But I'm struggling with a wide receiver that was a second-round pick. Traded a fourth-round pick. And his main contribution is special teams. I'm struggling with Jonathan Mingo. I'm struggling with the conversation of Jonathan Mingo. I'm sorry, but I'm struggling with it. And I'm gonna tell you after I hear what he says about Jonathan Mingo. But I'm just gonna give you the facts again. I laid this all out the other day. I'm gonna give you the facts again. But I'm struggling hard with this Jonathan Mingo conversation. I am. I mean, we're talking about one play. One play changed everybody's mind last game. I mean, one play. Do y'all not remember we did the same thing with Kalen Carson? Kalen Carson on the bubble. One interception last year in the preseason. Man, Kalen Carson made the team. Didn't see Kalen Carson no more. No more. Didn't see him no more the preseason because he basically made the team. Well, here we are with Jonathan Mingo. Name me the other time over the last 2 seasons since we've had Jonathan Mingo. Tell me again when he jumped off the tape. Tell me. Tell me when Jonathan Mingo jumped off the tape. Tell me when he jumped off. Frank Lawrence, appreciate the super chat. Frank Lawrence said LT Overton was the number one rated high school recruit in the nation. Frank Lawrence. People don't understand yet, Frank Lawrence. They don't understand yet, but LT Overton is a steal. LT Overton is going to make plays for the Cowboys this year. He's also going to be on the field. I think he is going to be one of the unsung heroes this year. LT Overton can play. Can play. Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm excited about LT Overton. But again, y'all tell me on Jonathan Mingo, other than that one play against the Arizona Cardinals, name me a time he's jumped off the field in the last 2 years. Tell me.
Heading into this preseason finale, into a contract year for him, what have you seen from his mentality just kind of going into this training camp?
Oh, contract year for Jonathan Mingo. Contract year for Jonathan Mingo. Interesting. Now, y'all do remember also, as it applies to Jonathan Mingo, Jonathan Mingo reworked his deal too in order to even stay on the Dallas Cowboys team. Jonathan Mingo reworked his deal. He reworked his deal. Now, I see what somebody said bingo. Somebody said bingo. You said bingo, huh? Bingo. I ain't mad at you, Shadeed. Bingo had Cooper Rush throwing to him. Yeah, last year, Dak played the whole season, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, Dak Prescott was healthy the entire season last year, and Mango still didn't work his way onto the field. He didn't. Mango didn't work his way onto the field.
And then how he's done.
Could not be more proud of Jonathan. Everybody, they figure it out at different stages of their career for different reasons. Being selected high like he was in Carolina and then being traded, that's not easy. I mean, believe me, you're talking to a guy that's been fired a lot. And so you kind of you start second guessing yourself and whatnot. But he's figured it out. And, he's not just done it on offense. He's done it in another phase, which is really important to us, and that's special teams, whether it's a gunner.
No. Let's keep it real on Mingo. No disrespect to Mingo. But where Mingo has really done it is on special teams. That's where he's really done it. Now, again, I guess if that's what you want him as a sixth wide receiver, okay, well, have at it. Have at it, because that's really the issue. He's going to be your sixth wide receiver. But I'm still struggling with that, man. I'm seriously struggling with that. Because the Cowboys are in a situation to where they more than likely need to keep more offensive linemen because of what's going on their offensive line. The Cowboys are probably going to have to keep a lot more depth there. And again, you got to think about this. The Cowboys are going to be robbing Peter to pay Paul with this roster, man. Because, okay, you keep 6 wide receivers. So that means there's a position that you're going to be short at in another position. And then that means that's also going to force you to make a decision at linebacker. We're going to talk about that in a moment. It's going to force you to make a decision at linebacker that you might not want to make.
Whether it's a returner, he's figured out what creates value on a football team, and that's versatility. And I could not be more proud of him and just kind of what he's done. And really, really pleased.
You say it takes time. Did he show a difference in demeanor at some point, or was there a moment where it totally clicked with him?
No.
Hold his feet to the fire, y'all. Hold his feet to the fire. I'm just going to tell y'all the truth. I'm going to tell y'all the truth, and we all know it to be true. There are some roster decisions, they come from upstairs. There are some roster decisions that come from upstairs. And I told y'all this story the other day. For all of the posts that Jimmy Johnson over here posting, that all of the personnel decisions came through him. We clearly saw on the Netflix special that all of the personnel decisions didn't stop at Jimmy Johnson, because it was pointed out. I had told a story about Dave Onstad long before that Netflix special, and we got it verified. Jimmy Johnson was ready to move on from Troy Aikman. Go look at the Netflix special. Jerry Jones told Jimmy Johnson, Troy Aikman is the quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys. That was upstairs decision. Jerry was ready to move on and just keep rolling with Berline. He was ready to keep moving. But Jerry said, no, you're not going to keep moving. You're going to put Troy Aikman back at that quarterback position. They went and got Noah Turner. Noah Turner came in and fixed Troy Aikman. put a number one defense on the other side of it, and the rest is history. Some decisions come from upstairs. Look at Jimmy Haslam over there with the doggone Cleveland Browns. Let me tell you about Deshaun Watson real quick, in case you didn't know what Deshaun Watson was trying to pull. Deshaun Watson, if he would have got cut by the Cleveland Browns, they would have owed him $86 million and would have got hit for it, dead cap money this year, if I'm not mistaken. $86 million. But in the Cleveland Browns saying, we're not going to cut you. You're going to stay here for another year. They're going to be on the hook for, I think, what? $36 million this year, and the rest they can put in the next year, or vice versa, however you want to do it. So they kept him for salary cap reasons. That Deshaun Watson cares nothing about, in the grand scheme of things, I believe, about playing for the Cleveland Browns. It's been about money from the moment he signed that contract. And that was an upstairs decision. And so there are times, no matter how talented a player is or a player is not, there are just decisions sometimes that come from upstairs. That the front office says, no, you're going to keep that player right there. Because we think that player has potential, or we gave up this for that player. We gave up this draft pick for that player. We want that player to work out. So he's going to be on the team. So it happens. It happens. I'm just telling you. So Jonathan Mingo, have you noticed? This is why they're holding his feet to the fire. They're saying, hey, you've been bringing up Jonathan Mingo unprompted. Wait, let's think about what unprompted means. One, they were not asking him about Jonathan Mingo. But two, Jonathan Mingo hasn't been doing things to make people say, Jonathan Mingo, wow, he's really turned it on. They're telling us he turned it on. We saw that one catch. But other than that, let's be honest. What has Jonathan Mingo really done that has jumped off the television and jumped off the page? You're being honest with yourself. You'll tell yourself the truth.
You know, I just think that, like I said, I think, I can't speak for him, but I do know that, sometimes when you're, sent to a different team, there's guys that they attack it one way and there's guys that attack it a different way. And for whatever reason, I think he just said, hey, it's time for me to go do this. He's incredibly talented. He's incredibly gifted. But it's been really fun for us to see him put it all together. And it's
Now again, I just want you to listen to the words he's telling us. Schotty is telling us things that we actually didn't see. We haven't been seeing these things on a consistent basis. We haven't. We haven't. Miss Matrix is in the building. What's going on, Miss Matrix? Miss Matrix said, in all fairness, I think that team could have carried Berline. So even if Jimmy called that, it could have been a Trent deal for win. Also, I agree. Mingo got to go. And Miss Matrix, you remember what Berline said in the Netflix special? And I thought it was very telling. See, Troy Aikman and Jimmy didn't mix. I mean, this is well documented. Even Mike Fisher has talked about this. Guys who were around the Cowboys, they talked about this. Jimmy and Aikman didn't mix. And Jimmy and Aikman didn't start mixing, if we really tell the truth. Jimmy and Aikman didn't start mixing until after Jimmy figured out, for as much control as Jimmy said that he had, Jimmy realized something, though. There was one person that he didn't have control over being fired. Himself. And if Jimmy thought he was going to get rid of Troy because Jerry liked Troy, it would have been Troy over Jimmy. And I don't even think Troy is acknowledging this. It would have been Troy over Jimmy. So when Jimmy figured out that was a sticking point for Jerry, that Troy was his man, what did they do? They went and got North Turner. And the rest is history. But it's amazing to see Troy Aikman after coaching what Troy Aikman looked like. So, in the grand scheme of things, yeah, I'm with you in a sense, Miss Matrix. I'm not sure Berline gets as many as Troy, but maybe he would have, because if they would have just done the same moves, Berline might could have did the same thing. But again, some moves are just upstairs moves. There's nothing you can do. There's nothing you can do. And that's why as I'm listening to the Jonathan Mingo conversation, I'm not doubting that Jonathan Mingo is good. But what I am saying is that Jonathan Mingo, in the grand scheme of things, it's not that Jonathan Mingo isn't good enough to be on the team per se. But Camden Brown, if you would have held their feet to the fire and they picked 5 wide receivers, let's be honest. Camden Brown is saying that you cannot let me hit the streets and keep Jonathan Mingo. And we know that's what they're telling us. We know doggone well that's what they're telling us. They're trying to tell us about Jonathan Mingo. Why? Because they don't have to tell us about Camden Brown. Tell the truth and stay in the church. Yeah, they're telling us, they started telling us about Jonathan Mingo because they didn't have to tell us about Camden Brown. Because Camden Brown said, hey, I'm here. My name is Camden Brown. Folks started asking about Camden Brown before they knew who Camden Brown was. Yeah, Camden Brown did that. Camden Brown did that.
It's not been 1 or 2 plays. It's been every day. And so that's what I think we're so excited about for him. And it's cool for him to get his first touchdown the other night.
Yeah. Oh, wait a minute. What'd you say, Brian Schottenheimer? 3rd year with the Cowboys. Wait, hold on a second. 3rd year, I believe, with the Cowboys. And it was cool to see him get his first touchdown in preseason. Okay. Okay. First touchdown in 3 seasons? Tell you everything you need to know.
Sadi's at The Athletic. Brian, I know front office does a lot of the personnel stuff, but the cut down day is 2 days earlier this year. Just going into the final preseason game, how does that adjust the timeline with how you guys operate? Because normally it's on a Tuesday, this year on Sunday.
Yeah, the process is still the same. We do it the way we do it. We'll play the game on Friday, and we'll get in here early on Saturday, and we'll blink the film for some of those last looks, if you will, at some of these guys that are in contested or heated position battles, and we'll have a meeting and we'll dissect a lot of different things, and we'll start with one side of the ball or the other, and we'll debate, and then we'll take a break, and we'll come back and we'll debate some more and talk about different things. And of course your phone starts to ring, and people start calling about different things. And at the end of the day, I think it's no different than how we do the draft process.
That's it right there.
Long conversations, but real conversations, hard conversations, disagreements, discussions, and then, hey, this is what the Dallas Cowboys are doing in 2026 with final cuts. And the hardest part is, you bring the guys in and you have to have real conversations with them and tell them that their dream is not over. It just means that their dream might not be with us this year. But I'm very, very certain that the players that we have to move on from will find homes elsewhere. Because
I'm telling this right now. We're going to look at this in just a moment. As a matter of fact, we're gonna leapfrog this over the player interviews. I'm telling us right now, this roster cut down is not going to be hard for them overall because the first and the second string is set. You're literally talking about 44 players. It's set. And then when you add in special teams, then when you add in special teams, you're talking about 48 players. The reality is, the big discussion for the cut downs is not going to be 48 players. It's not. The big discussion for the Cowboys regardless of what they're saying and anybody says, it's coming down to 5 or 6 players. Bottom line, it's coming down to 5 or 6 players. 5 or 6 players. And this is going to give them, and one of them, I think they're already telling us what they're going to do. The Cowboys are setting us up for 1 or 2 things as it applies to this whole Jonathan Mingo thing, and we're going to get there in just a moment as soon as we get to hear the rest of this. Frank Lawrence said Jets, Steelers, Cardinals, Browns, Fins, Milton trade. Okay, now, have you heard that? Frank Lawrence, I'll be honest with you. You just make a great point about the Steelers, though. Mike McCarthy was here. I wouldn't be surprised if Mike McCarthy, even though I've heard the quarterback they drafted has been looking really good. But if he starts sticking it up, McCarthy, I could see him calling about Joe Milton. Cardinals, I think Beck, I think they're going to roll with him. Browns, I'm telling you right now, Frank Lawrence, the Browns can't bring anybody in Cleveland. The Cleveland Browns fan base loves Shedeur Sanders. And the Cleveland Browns are about to be one of the laughing stocks of the league in 2026. Because when they let Deshaun Watson debut in Cleveland in that new stadium, we are going to witness one of the most insane things we've ever seen. They are going to boo Deshaun Watson to nauseum. Every incompletion. He better not he better not throw an incomplete pass. And he better come in 2-0. If he comes in 0-2, the crowd noise alone is going to make him fail. No quarterback can go into Cleveland as long as Shedeur Sanders is there. No quarterback. It's futility. That fan base wants to see Shedeur Sanders. So of those 3 teams, Steelers quarterback, I think they're going to give him a shot. Cardinals, they're probably looking at Beck. Browns, you ain't bringing nobody in there with Shedeur Sanders. Fins, think about it. Malik Willis, at least a 2-year deal, so you probably wouldn't have any movement there right now. You see what happened at the end of the season. Maybe they'd be willing to eat that money. And then, the Jets. I could definitely see the Jets. Yeah, I could definitely see the Jets. Question is, would he want to go to the Jets? That'd be the question. Attention, appreciate that super chat. He said Jimmy was the GM and had Dan Marino 62, Jacksonville Jaguars 7. Jacksonville Jaguars 7, Miami Dolphins. Hold on, let me say it right. Jacksonville Jaguars 62, Dolphins 7. And attention, appreciate that super chat. See, one of the things I talked about the other night, attention, for as much as people say that Jerry hasn't done anything in 31 years, Jimmy hasn't done anything either in 31 years. And the reason why Jimmy hasn't done anything is that Jimmy will never admit it. But Jimmy needed Jerry too. Jimmy and Jerry needed each other. Jimmy and Jerry were the perfect storm. Jimmy and Jerry could have won more than 2 Super. They could have won more than 2 Super Bowls together. They could have. They could have won more than 2 Super Bowls together. Jimmy and Jerry, I believe, could have won 5 or 6 Super Bowls together. Absolutely. Absolutely. They could have won 5 or 6, maybe even 7, with the way they were parlaying. If you would have just let Jimmy keep parlaying those trades, the Herschel Walker trade, and just keep stacking and turning those things into players and making player acquisition and Jimmy's mentality, I really do think they could have won more than 3. And I'm going to still give Jimmy, for as much as he's arrogant as he is, I'm still giving Jimmy credit for that 1995 Super Bowl. For as much as I say they both messed it up, I'll never disrespect Jimmy like that. Jimmy deserves credit for the 1995 Super Bowl. I would say Jerry probably deserves more credit for the 1995 Super Bowl than he did for the 92-93 Super Bowl, because Jerry saw the team teetering when he brought in Barry Switzer, when he got Deion Sanders, and then got that team another Super Bowl, because I don't think they get another one without adding Deion Sanders. And so Jerry deserves a lot more credit for that 95 Super Bowl for sure. than he did for those 92, 93, but he still deserves credit for those two. But had those two had not let their egos get in the way, probably looking at 6 Super Bowls during that era, man.
I said, we're a very talented roster, and they're incredible young men that are great professionals.
What are factors that you consider when you're combing the waiver wire for talent that's been let go elsewhere compared to what you already had in-house?
You know, we look at the talent side of it first because it's hard to get to know these guys, you know. You don't have time to bring them in like you do the rookies for draft visits or free agents, and so you got to go off talent. A lot of these guys we have draft reports on that speak to the character. You know, you got to be careful calling your buddy from another team about a player because they might be trying to get him back on practice squad or whatnot. But it's a very similar process. You know, you trust the tape first, and then you have conversations and you look back at reports. I mean, the personnel guys, they don't sleep really for, you know, a couple nights, 48 hours or so. They don't sleep. And but again, I love the give and take that we have between ourselves, you know, Jerry, Steven, Will McClay, and all the personnel guys. You know, it's real conversations. And
are y'all paying attention? As I told you before, Brian Schottenheimer is not going to make the mistake that Jimmy made. If there is one mistake Jimmy made, Jimmy not wanting to give Jerry any credit. You didn't have to give Jerry all the credit. You didn't even have to put a percentage on it. But all Jimmy had to do is toast Jerry Jones and say, you're right, we did it. You're never going to hear Brian Schottenheimer say, I did it. You're never going to hear him say that. When Brian has success on this team, when Brian Schottenheimer gets his Super Bowl, he's never going to say, I did it. Brian Schottenheimer is going to do it just like Rocky Balboa did it at the end of Rocky. He's going to say, we did it. I noticed this from the very beginning. Brian understands that if I'm going to get respect, I got to give respect. If I'm going to gain trust, I got to show trust. And if I'm going to get what we want, I can't get it by myself. I got to get it with us. And if I want to get the players, if I want to get the coaches, then I've got to do the things that I need to do by respecting Jerry and always including him and the front office, and we all work together so that I can do what I know needs to be done to win. Schottenheimer, you're never going to hear him say I or me when it comes to this team. And if there was one mistake that Jimmy made, that was the absolute dumbest mistake that Jimmy Johnson made. And that's why I say Jimmy deserves credit too for the failure of the Cowboys. The refusal of a simple toast. Man, I'm telling you, people don't understand. One small decision can cost you a lifetime. One small decision. For everything that people say what Jimmy is, but Jimmy also is a what could have been. Yeah, Jimmy is a what could have been. Jimmy Johnson also derailed his own career because he never went on to be a successful coach after the Cowboys. Went to the Miami Dolphins. They would not let him do what Jerry let him do. They wouldn't. They were not giving him full control. Don Shula was the Miami Dolphins. Dan Marino was the Miami Dolphins. Jimmy, we're not letting you come in here and do what you did in Dallas. We're not giving you, and I don't know what they gave him, but I'm pretty sure they didn't give him the control that he had in Dallas. And if they did, then he was a failure over there. Just like Jerry Jones hasn't done anything in 31 years, neither is Jimmy. And both of them ruined what could have been. Brian Schottenheimer's not going to make that mistake. Brian Schottenheimer going to make it known we did it. Yeah. Brian Schottenheimer is saying at every return, even before the success, have y'all not been paying attention to what Brian is doing? Brian is doing this by design. We, never me. Yeah. There's no I in team. But I got news for you. There is a M-E in team. And if you mess around and turn that E-M into a M-E, you will destroy that team. Bottom line. You will destroy that team if you turn the M-E or the E-M in team into me. You will destroy that team. Bottom line. There's no me in team. There's a E-M in team, but there's no me in team. Yeah, Poobie D. Jimmy couldn't start from the ground up like he did with Dallas. Yep. And they wouldn't let him make the moves that he wanted to make. GM or not. No, he wasn't going to make them moves. Rumor has it, I don't know how true it is, he wants to trade Dan Marino and kind of have that Herschel Walker trade. Miami Dolphins said, you crazy. The Ted Chong said he was a GM at the Fins. He had full control. And again, neither one of them. Shoot. Neither one of them jokers did nothing in 31 years because of their egos. Both of them. Not one of them, both of them.
I look forward to it.
Brad Sham, Cowboys Radio 105.3 The Fan. Before kickoff Friday, will you have felt the need to remind your team that last Tuesday was last Tuesday and there's no need for anything to carry over?
Yeah, I mean, we're into these position battles and things like that. These guys are excited to go out and play football. And mostly we're excited to be back home in AT&T Stadium and can't wait to watch these guys compete.
But as to the question, will you be speaking to them about last Tuesday?
I talk to our guys about a lot of different things, Brad. So
Answer my damn question.
I see you, Brian. Man, Brian Schottenheimer said he's tired of these dumb questions, bro. Man, I want y'all to think about what Brad Sham, shout out to Brad Sham. I like Brad Sham. But come on, man. Is this not a dumb question? Brad Sham is basically asking Brian Schottenheimer, did you have to talk to your team about the last game was the last preseason game, basically, I guess, the success that you had, that do you have to tell your team that was just the second preseason game, we on to the third preseason game? Bro, it's the preseason. Stop it, bro. It's the preseason. Why in the world do you got to tell your team in the third preseason game? Starters and second stringers ain't even playing. Man, they not even playing. Why you got to be reminding people, hey, man, that last game was the last game, and this is a whole nother game. We got to... Bruh, it's the preseason. We ain't even playing to win in the grand scheme of things, even though I'm sure we're playing to win. Man, these dudes out here fighting for their life out here like R. Kelly, bro. Stop it. We got to come players out here fighting for their life, man. That's why Brian Schottenheimer just got to be a little bit like, man, come on. Sham, Brad Sham, that's the best question you could... Is that the best question you could come up with? I'm like, come on, bro. Come on, Sham. You can do better than that, man. You do better than that, man. Yeah, Ten Chong said, yeah, he wanted to redo Dan, and that was the only no. Yeah, I think he wanted to trade him. Yeah. Word is he asked before joining, and he took it anyway. Yeah. Yeah, Bass said both of them foolish because had they hashed it all out, who knows how many Lombardis that we would have had. Oh, yeah, well, 100 proof in the game. What's up, 100 proof? Yes, sir, Robert. It takes two to tango. Just stupid, man. You know, again, for as much as everybody say, man, Jerry ain't done nothing in 31 years. What has Jimmy done in 31 years? Nothing. Hadn't taken another team to the Super Bowl. Hadn't even got close. Hadn't even got doggone close. So, at the end of the day, they both really ruined something that was absolutely great. Jimmy should have been thankful and just let Jerry keep just bringing all the attention to the Cowboys he was bringing and all of the endorsements and things that he was doing in the NFL. Man, Jimmy should have been so, hey, Jerry, do what you do. I'm just going to keep bringing what we need to do to you. and we're going to keep rolling. We're going to keep rocking. Because I'm sorry, man, if you the one supplying the money, even if I'm supplying the ideas, bro, if you supplying the money, we doing it. Shit, we doing it, bro. We doing it. What's that old song? I remember there was a song. I can't remember the song, but the lyric, one of the lyrics to the song said, "You got the looks and I got the brains. Let's make plenty of money." Shit. You got the looks and I got the brains. Let's make plenty of money.
He knows I'm not going to answer the question. We're playing off each other right now. It's pretty cool.
What up, old school?
Do you know what I know that you know that I know? Okay, good. You can ask the same question. I'll answer the same.
Back on Caleb Downs for a
And I
second.
believe he
How much
wanted
time
to
did he and Christian Parker spend together? And how was his Christian Parker skit rookie night?
Well, the rookie skit, he was doing really good. Tommy Dunn cut him off, unfortunately, so he couldn't quite finish his Christian Parker. But the mannerisms were very, very good, and it was a lot of laughs. But they spent a ton of time together. You know, Christian's one of those guys that he is wanting to be in meetings and wanting to be doing extra, and so they spend a lot of time together. You can see them before practice working together, and I think that's important for any player, but certainly a young guy that has the high expectations of himself that Caleb does.
Nick.
Not counting Caleb Downs, but it appears you have 6 safeties that are capable of being on a 53-man roster. How tough is that?
You could say it's tough. You could say it's a positive. I think it's a positive. You know, we get only so many spots, but very, very talented room. And it's one of those battles that you look at, and again, we'll see who plays and all that stuff. But you know, it's a deep room. It's probably deeper than the 6 or 7 you mentioned, and can't speak enough about a guy like Reddy Stewart. You know, I mean, the guy moves from nickel. He plays at safety. He does everything right. He's intelligent. He's a great communicator. I mean, you know, those guys are hard to find sometimes, but very, very good room, Nick, very talented, and I don't think it's a problem. I think it's a blessing.
We talk a lot about Blue with you. Was there any point when you saw this offseason, maybe even in camp, when you said, okay, he's going to be okay? Because we had talked about his maturity last year.
Yeah, I think, you know, he came back, and I've said this before, I think he came back with a different mentality, which is great. You know, he's always been extremely bright and picked up the scheme very, very well. It's been good for us to see him take the next step in certain areas, whether it's pass protection, whether it's, you know, some of the stuff in the return game. But I noticed it early on that there was a little bit different intentionality about him. But again, he's got to continue to compete because that's a deep room as well. And you know, we'll you know, see how we figure out the rotation. But it was early on for sure.
Did I not tell y'all? Jaydon Blue was a decision that had already been made. Cowboys are very, very high on Jaydon Blue. I mean, there would have to be something that would just be incredible. Sorry, the dog came in. There would have to be something incredible for the Cowboys to say, we're going to let Jaydon Blue go. Really? I mean, it'd have to be something absolutely incredible. It would be. And so, yeah, I told y'all before, man, Jaydon Blue has always been a part of the plan. Jaydon Blue has always been a part of the plan. All right, let me read a super chat here. Byron Joe DeVede, appreciate you. Yeah, Pet Shop Boys. That's it. Let's make lots of money. Shoot, man, Jimmy had the brains and Jerry had the money. Let's go win plenty of championships. Yeah. Jimmy, you had the plan, bro. You had the brains. Jerry had the way to advertise the team, building up the popularity of the team. I mean, man, they were a perfect combination, man. Perfect combination. I just hate they ruined it. Both of them. Not one of them, both of them, Bass. Yeah, both of them. Both of them. Absolutely both of them. What up, D Block? D Block in the building. What's going on? Good to see you. Let me see what Freddie said. What's up, Freddie Morales? He said, first thing Barry Switzer did once he signed on the dotted line was state, I wish I could have had a meeting with both Jimmy and Jerry, and I would have said to both of them, how did you knuckleheads mess this up? Bottom line, Freddie Morales. Bottom line, bro. Bottom line. Messed it up.
John.
What kind of role did Jaydon Barham have in the rookie night?
It's a good question. He was an extra, I will say. He was involved. He played his part beautifully. Beautifully. Jaydon, great job. But he was more of an extra, which some of the guys were only extras. So
He didn't intimidate, or he didn't do his impression of a coach?
he did not, but he was very good, Oscar-worthy of what he did as an extra. Yep.
All right, thank you.
Taylor Sheridan, take notice.
Yeah.
All right. It looks like we're going to be doing Cowboys After Dark tonight. I said I wasn't going to do it, but like we're going to be doing Cowboys After Dark on Thursday night and Friday night. I want to skip over, because we'll deal with the rest of this tonight. But before we get out of here, I want to deal with these roster casualties. Yeah, I got plenty of stuff to talk about today. So I actually don't want to get behind. So we're going to have to come back on Cowboys After Dark tonight. But I want to go to these roster casualties real quick. Cowboys they got an issue. And they got some good issues to have. What has transpired with the Cowboys is that there's just been a couple of players that have been so good that they have locked the Cowboys up in a headlock to where the Cowboys can't let these players go. They can't. They can't. It would be literal futility to let these players go. And so the Cowboys have got to figure out a way to keep these players. They do. They got to figure out a way to keep them along with the players who they want to keep. And so I want to go over here real quick. Let's pull up this Dallas Cowboys roster, because there are some players that the Cowboys absolutely want to keep. They do. But these other players, they've just made it hard for the Cowboys to say we're letting go of these players. It's the bottom line. That's what has transpired. The Cowboys have got some heartbreaking, and I am telling you, Cowboys fans, the Cowboys have some heartbreaking moves to make. And you know what? I'm going to lean on both sides of this. And the Cowboys may absolutely make those heartbreaking moves. Matter of fact, we'll talk about this some more tonight on Cowboys After Dark. What's going on, Dak Scott? What's going on? We're going to talk about this some more tonight on Cowboys After Dark. Yeah, we're going Cowboys After Dark. But the Cowboys got a problem here. There are some players that have put extreme pressure on them. And I don't think they anticipated these players putting this pressure on them. Because again, when you look at this roster, it's really this simple. This row of guys, this is not a problem. They already know what it is. This row of guys, for the most part, they know what most of this is. Most of. It's this back here is where they're going to be struggling. They're going to be struggling back here. Same thing defensively. They know what this is. They know what most of this is. Some of this, and it's this that's going to be the problem. It's this back here that's going to be a problem. So let's kind of go over here and see what the problem is. I'm going to give you the problem. When I go over here to this 53-man roster, there is one player that is causing them serious issues, and his name is Camden Brown. Camden Brown. Camden Brown is the problem. The Cowboys had in their minds, okay, George Pickens, CeeDee Lamb, Ryan Flournoy, Kevontae Turpin, and if I had to, and then in their mind, okay, and if we have to choose between Jonathan Mingo and Marquez Valdez-Scantling, no problem. We'll choose we'll choose Jonathan Mingo. So if you were going to go with 5 wide receivers, there they were, right there. Right there for the taking. And Marquez Valdez-Scantling would have had to have done something to make you go, okay, we're going to carry 6. But Marquez Valdez-Scantling didn't do anything. Now, the biggest issue they also have as it applies to the wide receiver situation. What in the heck do you do with Anthony Smith? What do you do with Anthony Smith? You drafted him. I mean, you literally drafted Anthony Smith. What do you do? Do you keep Anthony Smith and say, Camden Brown, see you later? But Camden Brown is looking way better than Anthony Smith. So what do you do? Jonathan Mingo, they thought this was going to be easy in that Mingo was just going to be a no-brainer. But Camden Brown, this is the X factors, Dallas Cowboys fans. Camden Brown has made this hard for him. He's made it hard for him because I'm telling you what they're saying in their minds. We're going to take a big chance if we let Camden Brown hit the practice squad. If we try to put Camden Brown on the practice squad, I'm telling you what they're telling themselves. He will not make it to the practice squad. They know it. They absolutely know it. That's the decision right there that's going to keep them up for the next 3 nights. That's going to keep them up for the next 3 nights. Edwin Minifield. I'm going to give you a glimpse of what I'm going to talk about on Cowboys After Dark tonight. I'm going to give you a glimpse, Edwin, because I'm going to show you why what you're saying. Wait, is that Edwin? Hold on, Edwin. Let me make sure that's you. Somebody said that he's, oh, okay, yeah. Okay, Edwin, you said Brown is slow. Okay, I'm about to show you something that's going to blow your mind here in a second. I'm going to go in depth on it tonight. I'm going to give you the short version right now. But Camden Brown has the Cowboys in a headlock because I'm telling you right now, Edwin, there are teams in the NFL right now, they're salivating. They are praying the Cowboys let go of Camden Brown. They're praying that they let go of Camden Brown. I wouldn't be surprised if the Cowboys tried to put Camden Brown on the practice squad. Commanders and the New York Giants are going to be lined up to get Camden Brown. He won't even make it out of the division if Camden Brown hit that waiver wire. We got 3 teams in our division that need a wide receiver. Philadelphia Eagles, let go of A.J. Brown. They need another big body, high point the ball wide receiver. Philadelphia could absolutely use Camden Brown right now. New York Giants, with everything going on with Malik Neighbors, I think they already lost a wide receiver just the other day. The New York Giants could absolutely use Camden Brown on their 53-man roster, and he will play. The Commanders, man, need I say more? They would love to have Camden Brown. Let me tell you something about wide receiver that people don't understand. You don't run 40-yard dashes in the NFL. You don't run 40-yard dashes. Your routes are not 40-yard dashes. Your routes are typically 10, 15 yards, maybe 20. You're running curl routes, in routes, out routes, wheel routes, you name it. Those routes don't typically take you to where you use your 40-yard speed. No, actually what really counts as a wide receiver is quickness and route running. Can you run your routes precise and get separation? What does your 10 to 15 yard speed and route running look like? We're not caring nothing about your 40 in the grand scheme of things when you're the type of wide receiver like Camden Brown. I don't give a doggone what your 40 is. If you look better than Jonathan Mingo and you've outplayed Jonathan Mingo, I don't care if he run a 4.2 and you run a 4.6. If you're better than him, you're better than him. Bottom line. How many of these wide receivers during the combine we've seen run these 4.2s? Where are they now? Where are they now? Where are these 4.2 wide receivers? Where are these 4.3 wide receivers? They don't always turn out to be the best wide receivers in the game. It don't matter what the 40 time is for Camden Brown and Jonathan Mingo. When I look at them on tape, Camden Brown looks better. Jonathan Mingo is going into his 3rd year on the Cowboys. Couldn't beat out Jalen Tolbert. Jalen Tolbert beat him. Couldn't push Kevontae Turpin. Made them go get George Pickens. And I say the one that is really the insult, Ryan Flanoy, 6th round draft pick, worked his way up from special teams, obviously outworked you, got his opportunity, and took advantage of it and kicked you out of any conversation for the 3rd wide receiver. That's Jonathan Mingo. And here we go again. For as much as they're talking about Jonathan Mingo, Camden Brown didn't need them to sing his praises. Anybody notice this? Camden Brown don't need Brian Schottenheimer to sing his praises. His play is singing his praises. His play is singing his praises. Camden Brown is the biggest issue. Camden Brown has got these boys in a headlock. Now you can't even, if they were going to carry 6 and say it's going to be Mingo and Anthony Smith, now you got doggone Camden Brown. Camden Brown is going to kick off Mingo or Smith. Got a feeling they may try to see if Smith can hit the practice squad and let Camden Brown stay. Because I'm telling you right now, if the Cowboys let go of Camden Brown, we're going to see him again. And I'm sorry, that's not a hard decision. That's a dumb decision. You don't let Camden Brown go, I'm sorry. It's a dumb decision. It's a dumb decision if you let him go. The upside is the ceiling is too high on Camden Brown. Too high. He's the one that's got them in an absolute headlock. They got another issue going here. Shayaz Pete. Shayaz Pete is another one of these players that's got the Cowboys in a headlock. Why? I'll be honest with you. I don't really know how good Shayaz Pete is. Anybody else? I don't know how good Shayaz Pete is. But I know the story is great. I know the story is incredible. I know the story is going to bring a lot of attention. It absolutely would be a great story in the Super Bowl year. I know the story is great on Shayaz Pete. I don't really know a lot about the player Shayaz Pete. He's got the Cowboys in a headlock. I mean, he absolutely does. I mean, do you let Shayaz Pete go? I got a strange feeling he's going to make the team, but my question is, does he make the team on play alone? See, this is the decision that they're seeing themselves in with Shayaz Pete. I mean, is he better than a Johnny Cornelius? I really don't know. I really don't know. But I'll tell you this, if Shayaz Pete makes this team, it's not a knock on Shayaz Pete, but it still tells me, Cowboys, y'all need better depth. Not more depth, because you got a bunch of guys back here. You need more depth. More depth on your offensive line. And how many offensive linemen will they decide to keep? Will the Cowboys decide to keep 9 or will they decide to keep 10? And if you decide to keep 10, then you can't, now you got to ask yourself, okay, do we carry 6 wide receivers? See, you can't just overload in every position. You go 6 here, you go 10 there. Well, you lessen what you can do in other positions. I think the tight end position, Michael Trigg, and I'm not even going to say Michael Trigg made it easy. I'm going to say that they're going to use this injury to put Michael Trigg on that injured reserve. I think that's what they're going to wind up doing there. The running back situation, I think it's been solved. I keep hearing, people. I'm not even going to have this running back discussion. I already told y'all what it was 2 weeks ago. It's no point in even talking about it. Only issue is I believe Phil Maffa is going to go to the practice squad. I think Phil Maffa will make it to the practice squad. I think he clears waivers. I don't think anybody's going to be after Phil Maffa. Phil Maffa can't stay healthy. We'll see how long the Cowboys continue that experiment. Then when you look defensively, this all over here is all decided. None of this. All of this is decided. The big decision the Cowboys have to make, to me, is at safety with Marquise Bell. Julius Wood, I don't care what kind of contract you have Marquise Bell up under, Julius Wood is better than Marquise Bell. And it ain't even close. I don't care what contract you have. And it's all going to come down to if Marquise Bell beats out Julius Wood, This is another one of those, this is one of those front office decisions. We got him under contract. And I'm telling y'all right now, I won't be mad if the Cowboys keep Jonathan Mingo. Okay, do what you want to do. Jonathan Mingo is not like he's absolutely terrible. But what I will be upset with is if you keep Jonathan Mingo and you cut Camden Brown. I don't care what anyone says. That is not a performance issue. That is not the best player issue. That is a front office issue. Gave up a 4th-round pick, and we're willing to let go of a Camden Brown type of player that you don't get this opportunity with much. You cut Camden Brown and keep Jonathan Mingo, it'll be a travesty. And it's the same thing with Marquise Bell. If you keep Marquise Bell and cut Julius Wood, it's an absolute travesty. And that, my friends, is not a move about talent. That's another one of those moves where sometimes the upper brass says, no, we've invested too much in this player. He's got a contract. We're not eating the money, or we gave up draft picks and we want this player to stay. That's where you are with that. These are and what I'm telling you is the 3 that I've given you, this is what's keeping them up. Because on these, it's a matter of making the right decision. For me, the right decision is never hard to make. But sometimes the hard decision is hard to make. The right decision is hard for people to make because they're looking at what they're going to lose rather than what they're gaining. They're looking at what they're losing rather than what they're gaining. So this is where we are with this. This is exactly where we are with this. This is what's going to keep them up at night. What's keeping them up at night is not going to be the majority of these players. It's just not. And I think on the other end of this, if somebody hits the waiver wire, they may have to make a decision on the Stewart Ready. If there's a cornerback that's out there that hits the waiver wire, it could make them think about Stewart Ready. I don't understand how Triquez Bridges is still on the team now. But they seem to like Triquez Bridges. Wouldn't be surprised if he hits the practice squad. But I think there'll be some decisions to make at the cornerback position as the waiver wire comes down on Sunday. I wouldn't be surprised on Sunday you see guys like Triquez Bridges, Darian Kendrick, Stewart Ready. They could change those guys out for some other players. Running back in an extreme situation, I mean, it would have to be somebody great. But the guy Benson or whoever we discussed the other day, I still don't understand Cowboy fans who want him. Been injured for 2 years now, and then we're talking about, let's bring him to the Cowboys. Heck no, don't bring him over here. But in reality, man, when you look at this roster, this thing it's easy. It absolutely is easy until they get to that position. These are the positions that they're going to be struggling with. Wide receiver, offensive line. Let me give you one more player. There's a 4th player. And we could possibly say a 5th player. I forgot about these 2 players. What in the heck do you do about Maurice Leofau and Sam Williams? What do you do about Maurice Leofau and Sam Williams? What do you do? How many linebackers are you keeping? Because I'm struggling. You typically keep 9 in a 3-4. I don't know, maybe you could keep 10. But when you look at these linebackers, these 4 aren't going anywhere. But even when I go to the second line, Malachi ain't going nowhere. Barham ain't going nowhere. Von Miller ain't going nowhere. You're already up to 7. So if you keep 9 linebackers, you only got 2 spots. So wait a minute. You got to choose between Shamar James, James Houston. I'm keeping James Houston. I'm keeping James Houston. I'm up to 8 linebackers. I'm keeping James Houston. Now you got to choose between Shamar James, Justin Barron, Sam Williams, and Maurice Leofau. That's a problem right there. That's a problem. That's the problem right there. This is what's going to keep him up. Because drafted Sam Williams, got an injury, derailed his progress. Now he's back. Let's see what he looks like 2 years removed from the injury. Maurice Leofau, drafted him 2024, third round. Think about it. Sam Williams, 2022, second round. Maurice Leofau, 2024, third round. You're like, okay, we drafted these players. Maybe we give them another year. Can they develop and be better? But when I go to Justin Barron, I would dare say Justin Barron has actually looked better than Maurice Leofau this preseason. Tell me I'm wrong. Justin Barron has looked better than Maurice Leofau. Justin Barron has looked better than Sam Williams. Do you keep them and let Justin Barron go and then see if you can get him back to the practice squad? What do you do? These are the decisions that are about to make the Cowboys stay up at night. And the issue is these decisions are principle decisions. They're not talent decisions. They're not talent decisions. Because if you're really being honest with yourself, talent-wise, these players that you got brand new on the team, they're better than these players that you don't want to give up. They're better. They absolutely are. And that's what's going to keep them up. Bottom line, that's what's going to keep them up. Because the rest of these decisions, they're easy. They're easy. All the way to about 40, I would say 40, 53-man roster. So all the way up to about 46, it's all easy. It's about 5 to 7 moves that's going to keep the Cowboys up. Now, thankfully for us, it's not really second string. So we're not really worried about it from the grand scheme of things. But we are worried about it from the grand scheme of things and the reason why I say this, unlike Jonathan Mingo, who in this chat don't believe that Camden Brown could play this year? Who believes that Camden Brown could literally play this year and make an impact? Camden Brown, because I do. I believe Camden Brown can play this year and make an impact. Absolutely. I'm not sure about Shayaz Pete. I'm not sure about him. If I were the Cowboys, I'd probably try to let Shayaz go to the practice squad. But when I look at the linebacker situation, I'm keeping James Houston. So that probably only leaves one spot. I'm keeping James Houston. And if I had to choose between Justin Barron, Sam Williams, Maurice Leofau, man, that is absolutely tough. I'd probably try to see if I could get Justin Barron to the practice squad again. And I'd probably either roll with Sam Williams or Maurice Leofau. But that's tough. That's tough. I mean, I might keep Maurice Leofau over Sam Williams because maybe I'm thinking in my mind, maybe I can move Maurice Leofau somewhere else and see where he works out. But that's tough. Cornerback situation, I'm probably going to be looking at the waiver wire. I'll be looking at the waiver wire on the cornerback situation. I like Kobe Durant. I like Deron Bland. I like Savon Revel Jr. I like Devin Moore. And so if there was somebody out there better than Reddy, someone out there better than Bridges, I would be looking at the waiver wire for that. But I'm telling you right now, Marquise Bell, I'm gonna eat that money. I'm gonna eat that money. I'm not letting Julius Wood go. I'm gonna put Julius Wood in place of Marquise Bell. I'm gonna eat that money. So again, those are really the 5 things that the Cowboys got to worry about. Everything else is easy. Everything else is easy for the Cowboys, man. It is easy. It's absolutely easy. These are just issues that we got to decide on. They're just principal issues. That's all they are. That's all they are. Hold on a second. Let me see my y'all see the dog back here? Man, let me tell y'all something. We got one of these Frenchies. Don't ever get one of these dogs. These are the most attitude-having dogs you ever see in your life. Hold on just a second. Man, don't y'all ever in y'all life get one of them Frenchies. You dogs have some of the craziest attitudes you ever seen in your life. All right, so we're going to be doing Cowboys After Dark tonight. So let me show you something before I roll up out of here. And we're going to go a little bit more extensive on this tonight. But I noticed that some people were talking about Camden Brown and, you know, people talk about Camden Brown's speed. I'm going to save a little bit of the, I'm going to save the video clip I have to show you. Let me read these super chats real quick. I think we got a couple in here. Appreciate the super chats tonight. Okay, that was a Tenchong. Oh, Tenchong. Oh, Tenchong, you just took the words out of my mouth because I'm about to show you something. Appreciate your Tenchong. Tenchong said, Jerry Rice wasn't fast. Killed Dion in 95 on slants. Jerry Rice, arguably best wide receiver to play the game. And that's exactly where I was about to go to as we close out this section for tonight. I want you to look at Jerry Rice. Jerry Rice's pre-workout 40 speed, they say, is a 4.71. Pre-draft workout, some people say. Other people say he ranged anywhere from 4.45 to 4.59. All I'm telling you is Jerry Rice wasn't the fastest wide receiver to play the game. He wasn't. Yeah, Jerry Rice wasn't the fastest wide receiver to play the game. And there are many wide receivers who were not the fastest to play the game and just had incredible success because they are so talented at everything else. Just so talented at everything else. And so when we talk about his 40 speed, I wouldn't be concerned with this man's 40 speed. I wouldn't. I just wouldn't be concerned with his 40 speed. And even though, you know, they say Jonathan Mingo runs a 4.4 or 4.5 or whatever the case may be, doesn't always look like it. But I don't think it's his 40 time that's been Jonathan Mingo's problem. Yeah, I don't think that's been his problem. I mean, even Michael Irvin was a 4.5 40 guy. So I don't think that's what's I don't think Jonathan Mingo's 40 time has been his issue. I think Jonathan Mingo's issue has been I think Jonathan Mingo's issue has just been simply all of the other stuff. The route running, the ability to get separation. You don't have to run a 4.4 40 to get separation. When you just look at all of these intangible things. Jonathan Mingo should have been a better wide receiver than Jalen Tolbert, but he never beat out Jalen Tolbert. And the Cowboys released Jalen Tolbert and still have not moved Jonathan Mingo up on the depth chart in the grand scheme of things. He's still the 5th wide receiver. Jason Jackson, you normally only keep, they say you only normally keep 5. But I think because of Camden Brown, the Cowboys are going to keep 6. But I'll tell you this. I'm going to prepare myself. I'm going to prepare myself. Cowboys may be preparing us for a heartbreaking situation that they just may let go of Camden Brown. Miss Major says it's going to get worse. He hear you talk. I don't know if it's going to get worse, but I tell you this, Camden Brown has really put this team in a headlock. He absolutely has. So Camden Brown has put this team in a headlock, and I'm glad. I'm glad. Because they got to make a decision. And at the end of the day, man, it's got to be about the best players on the team. It is. But we're going to see, because Cowboys got some serious heartbreaking decisions to make. And I'm just thinking off the top of my head, 4 heartbreaking decisions the Cowboys could make. Maurice Leofau, Sam Williams, Jonathan Mingo and Anthony Smith over Camden Brown. There's a couple of other ones out there too. Oh, Shayaz Pete. Shayaz Pete. That could be one. I'll tell you another one. Shamar James. Shamar James. Cowboys just drafted him last year. Just drafted him last year. Yeah, just drafted him last year. So, yeah, old school. Yeah, Jerry Rice, best wide receiver to play the game for me. And wasn't the fastest. Some of the fastest wide receivers don't turn out to be the best wide receivers. Their speed is their main attribute. Camden Brown, and I'll show y'all later on tonight when we come back on Cowboys After Dark. Cowboys After Dark tonight, starting around 12:30 a.m. Y'all put those notification bells on. And again, yep, we're starting at 12:30 because it is for people who stay up late. Absolutely. Boy, if you don't stay up late, you can't do Cowboys After Dark. I'm telling you right now. If you can't stay up late, you can't do Cowboys After Dark. So Cowboys After Dark tonight at 12:30 a.m. We're going to resume tonight. We're going to expound on this conversation about Camden Brown. I got a few more things to show you. Also, we're going to listen to the player interviews. You know, we'll talk a little bit more about that roster. We'll look at John Machota tonight. Go around and look at some of the media takes. Go around the NFL. I got some great stories around the NFL, guys. Great stories from around the NFL that indirectly affect the Cowboys. And then we'll do the plays of the day from Wednesday. And then tomorrow we're going to do our preseason pregame show. Man, we about to be so busy over the next couple of days. Thank God the Cowboys won't be playing on Sunday. I'm going to need some rest on Sunday. But for the next 2 days, man, we're going to be wall-to-wall Cowboys. Man, I appreciate y'all. I'll see y'all again tonight at 12:30 a.m. Hit that notification bell. Until the next time, TC4L, God bless. Let's talk Cowboys and we talk facts. Peace.